Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for Below Grade Level. Let's kick this into high gear. Welcome to Below Grade Level, the show where we take the books that we read as children and read them as adults and ruin them. I am one of your hosts, Jonathan Eaton, and with me as always are Bekah Eaton.
Hello.
And Chris Zaleski.
Hello.
And special guest on this episode, returning special guest, is our friend John Walker.
Hello.
How are you, John?
I'm not bad.
So
I'm sitting at my house.
Yeah.
And you are sitting at your house, and Chris is sitting at his house. Is this the first episode of this show that has been done in this remote fashion?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
This is
Even when I was in Vermont, we didn't try to do this.
we did, and it failed.
We did? I don't remember.
We did it a couple times, and it went badly every time.
Oh yeah, because
Why
I
did
think
we
we were
stop?
going through Skype or
Yeah, we were going through Skype. We were doing it like going through Skype, and then right at the tail end of you living in Vermont is when you got a Yeti, Chris, and then you and I recorded some stuff over the phone. And by the time I got around to editing that, you'd already moved back.
life.
But it came in handy that you bought a Yeti because now there is a horrible virus ravaging the planet, and we're all stuck inside, and no one can go and do anything because we might kill each other.
Yep.
So
Well,
how's everyone doing with
thanks.
that?
Also,
Thank God for technology, so we can keep reading this horrible, insane book. Hate to miss out on that.
in other news, I found a very, very old keyboard that is only like 18 inches long. But at some point, I'm gonna try to record some sort of funny song,
Oh.
and then if it
Like
has
a
legs,
music keyboard.
Oh, yeah.
if it has legs, I'm gonna have John Walker make it better. So like I could do this, like
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Is that a harmonica or the keyboard?
no, it's just the default.
There's no way to
thing.
make that better.
There's one called Jug. What's that sound like?
Oh, my God.
Like a jug, just like a jug.
It sounds like music from Fast and Furious.
Also,
yeah.
When they're doing one of the
it,
beach scenes.
Yeah.
it has a drum pad, so like
Chris,
No, Fast and Furious uses Spanish guitar whenever they want you to feel one of those beach scenes.
That
or,
first-
like, Dom's hanging out at home.
that
Drinking
first
a
thing that
Corona.
Chris was doing sounded a little bit like
Gene from
not
Bob's
Rhapsody in
Burgers.
Blue, but no, it was like it almost sounded like
I love his songs. The Entertainer.
Yeah, The Entertainer.
Yeah.
Thank
I was like, what the
That's
fuck
me.
is that from? All I could think
Oh,
was
wait,
The Sting. Isn't that
hold
the
on,
song of The
th-
Sting?
you. Yes.
Yes.
This is the demo song on it.
That should be our theme song for Below Grade Level. And honestly, that gives me a lot of like 90s kids book feels.
I had a keyboard when I was little, and it had all these little preset songs on it and
Yeah.
stuff.
I just feel like anything I do is just gonna end up sounding like a worse Daniel Johnston.
I don't get that reference though.
Me neither.
You don't know Daniel Johnston? Yes.
All right, well, good for him.
He's like a brilliant songwriter who had sort of mental issues, and he was always very frank about his mental issues in his music. And he was like a rare case of someone who might not have normally been able to have a big career, but was able to
Interesting.
through a lot of benefactors, a lot of other musicians that liked his stuff and kind of supported him. So
Yeah. Interesting. All
he
right.
was a brilliant songwriter. Yeah.
So depending on how this quarantine goes, that might be where I end up with more mental issues
With more.
and writing shitty songs that other
I-
people will make better.
I'm honestly
That's not what I said.
super excited about this prospect of Chris finding a shitty old Casio.
I love that he
It's,
apparently has discovered a Casio because he's sitting here going, "Look, you hit a button and it plays a demo," and it's like, "Wow, man, that's what Casios do."
It's a Yamaha, actually. It's a Yamaha
me.
Portasound PSS
burned.
140.
Porta sound, is that because it's so portable?
Well, I think it's more like akin to the keyboard version of a porta potty.
All right. Let's do a real quick recap of at least where we left off in just to remind anyone listening to this We're reading.
So yes, I am new. I am new to this book. I am new to this world of the Animorphs
God,
and their
I'm so
their
sorry.
adventures. So, but this is book 42 called The Journey, correct?
Yes.
Yes, and we started with book 42.
Oh, by the way, I was
Okay.
looking Animorphs shit up. It's like book 42 of like what was like 70s?
950.
No, like 70s. Like this is like tail end of Animorphs.
Yeah,
like,
this is a really great
we
starting
jumped
point.
straight into like basically like the third act of the overarching Animorphs saga.
So
At the same time, though, we lucked out because it's like a side adventure.
Yeah, we couldn't have done that if we tried.
yeah, I don't think this is main plot. So John,
Why did you choose this book? What made you choose this one? Is it because it's an elephant?
Was that a
Is
thrift
why you
store?
chose it?
100% yes.
Yes.
So John, have you never read an Animorphs before?
I have only looked in horror and amazement at the covers of the Animorphs series because there's always, somewhere in the transitional phases, there's always some horrible freak of nature that should be taken out back and burned. And and it was intriguing to me that I think it was supposed to look cool, but it always looked sort of disturbing in a very unintentional way. That's what I know about Animorphs.
Yeah, if you really like stare into the void of this cover, it keeps getting worse and worse.
It's haunting.
Yeah,
really
there's
is
always a
haunting.
part. There's always a part in it where it's just like, kill me now. I'm an affront to God.
What's even worse,
Yeah.
though, John, you weren't here when we first started reading this book. What's worse is when they describe in graphic detail the morphing process of either turning from a human into an animal or vice versa.
Hey, we might get there in this part of the book.
I pray to God we get there in some fashion. I will never forget how
Oh,
it
the floppy
described her
tusks.
tusks going flaccid. Like she was turning from an elephant into a human, and her tusks
and
literally
then
like
slurping back up into her
slurped
face.
into her face, and we're all like, ugh. Also, like they're naked 100% when they're morphing back into humans.
Oh yeah, did
So
they
this
talk
is
about
body
that?
horror.
Yeah, because they
It's so much
No,
body
it's
horror.
very Cronenbergian.
Speaking
Yeah.
of body horror, that's a great segue into what happened last time. Last time, they were in Marco's body already because, long story short, Helmicron's tiny aliens went inside Marco's body, inner space / Fantastic Voyage style. And,
slash magic school bus.
/ Magic School Bus / that episode of Venture Brothers / that episode of Archer.
All right.
and
Carlos.
and Marco.
Well, no, it's Magic School Bus reference.
Oh, right. Forgot we talked about that. I think
Mm-hmm.
with Canada. So a bunch of everyone went into Marco to try and get the Helmicrons before they killed him from the inside. So there's two stories happening right now. There's everybody inside Marco, and then there's Marco, and Marco keeps fucking up real bad. Such as last
And he's
time.
also like hunting down like the main plot.
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, so there's a kid that saw them morphing and took a picture of them, and then Marco tried to break into that kid's apartment and ended up punching a dog.
Punched a
which,
dog.
Fuck you.
He got
You're
attacked.
It's like,
breaking
why
and
wouldn't you just be
entering.
like,
That dog had
Now,
every
just
right.
a dog, or is there some possibility that there's an asshole who turns into this dog?
I did not think about
I
that.
didn't think of that either.
oh, hold on, an Animorph.
An Animorph.
Like
Oh,
an
that seems like a
enemy
missed
Animorph.
opportunity. Yeah, and that was when we found out that there's another race of aliens that are robots, but they look like dogs.
They're called the Chi.
The Chi. And one was dressed like a homeless man.
They're dog robots, but they wear a hologram disguise. Wait, this is confusing.
This is what I wrote down.
This note doesn't make sense.
Please tell me.
Dog robots wearing a hologram disguise who pretend to die?
Yeah, remember that was specifically in there that like they pretend like to die.
Why?
I don't remember.
Okay. I thought you were going to explain that to me, and you did not.
As I was explaining it, I realized I didn't remember.
I can already tell you, I don't care about this.
It's true. No,
That's all right,
seriously.
that's fair.
It has nothing to do with anything. They just popped up and
There's too much going on. I'll do my best, but I don't think maybe it's that it's 42. Maybe I should start at the ground floor. I really should have read books 1
should have
through
read 1 through 40,
before
yeah,
coming on the
absolutely.
podcast
so
today. I've certainly had the time.
they chase the Helmicrons into Marco's body, into his stomach, at which point Rachel, our protagonist, turned into an elephant, fell into Marco's stomach acid.
Into his acid.
Into his stomach acid, started to dissolve.
her skin started to
eyeballs
melt away.
Melted.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
It was a lot of pages of it burns, it burns, it burns.
Her fucking
But
eyeballs
also,
melted.
keep in mind that when they morph, they heal their
Yes.
injuries.
Yeah. So all she had to do is morph back into a human, and her fucking eyes grew back, I guess.
Wow.
And then the
Children's
Helmicrons
book.
started slicing up holes
Yeah.
in Marco's stomach lining, and then like escaped through the holes
Into the bloodstream.
So now they're going into Marco's bloodstream.
And the
So
best way they
basically,
could think of to chase them through the bloodstream, aka a river, was to all turn into sharks.
Yes,
Yeah. So basically,
Which is what you
John
do.
Walker.
who frenzy
if
at the smell of blood.
So basically, John Walker, if you want to fuck up your son, either show him The Fly or Existenz or have him read Animorphs.
Yeah, I think they'll
Because they're
do the
all
same
on
thing.
the same level.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when they are animals, are they still fully themselves inside there and in control, or are they animalistic
Mostly.
and out of control?
Yeah, I think
Mostly they're themselves.
Mostly, but
that-
Rachel was definitely concerned at the last chapter at the thought of turning into a shark that her like sharkiness will take over. So
Well, I think
there's
that's what
definitely
happened,
still an
right?
animal in there with her. I don't think anything really happened yet. I think
It
they're
depends
just
on the
slipping through
animal.
the hole in his stomach.
No, that was the cliffhanger.
Oh.
These are the last words of the last chapter. I was almost enjoying the morph, like the tough skin. I liked getting bigger. Then the shark's mind infiltrated my own, and I completely lost control.
Ah,
That was where we
All
left
right.
our friends.
Let's dive
Sure.
in like a shark.
Let's dive in like a shark. Okay, oh, Jesus Christ. Chapter 17. Blood! Exclamation point. So close. Find the prey. Kill the prey. I powered my tail, swam rapidly toward the overpowering smell. But I'm in blood.
That's the word you struggled with?
Well, no. Toward what smell? She's
More the
in
concept.
blood.
Haha, you're
go-
dumb.
I mean, it's fair, but sharks go toward the smell of blood. If a
you're
shark
just
was
straight up in blood.
he would probably just be like, "What's happening?" Sharks can smell. Oh, here you go. Sharks can smell one drop of blood in a vast ocean reeking with life. Ugh. But this smell, so rich, so strong. I turned tightly, poked my strange head into a tight opening, and pushed through. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
so how big of a shark are we talking?
Like-
the size of a grain of rice or smaller?
I'm gonna go with like smaller, right? I feel like if it was the grain of rice, Marco would feel a shark,
Yeah.
rice-sized shark, like going into his
He would just be
bloodstream.
walking down the street and then just start screaming.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it'd be in his blood. It would get like
Well, that's
clogged
what
and
I'm
shit.
saying. It
yeah.
must be like fucking teensy.
Yeah, it's. I don't even know. A narrow space, a few inches on one side, a few inches on the other. The shark didn't care. Sharks have no fear. And the smell, so much blood. I swam with the current, crossing frantically from one side of the confining space to the other.
The prey, where was it? I was confused. I should see the prey silhouetted against the sunlight above.
What?
But there was no sunlight, and the blood was everywhere. Imagine a drug addict awash in a sea of drugs.
I'm sorry.
Any kid can relate to that.
Swimming in a
So,
sea of meth.
Just like a vat of heroin.
Yeah.
Just paddling. Axe anywhere near a Cinnabon.
Wait, what?
I guess Axe like Cinnabon.
Yeah, I feel like that's a
Oh.
callback to something we know nothing about.
Yeah.
Wait,
Isn't
who's
Axe-
Axe?
So Axe is one of the Andalites. So he's an
yeah.
alien deer.
He's a blue deer.
He's a blue alien deer, and I guess he really likes Cinnabon.
He's the one that gave them the gift of morphing.
Yeah.
I just imagine he's like, oh, I love the icing so much.
Just picturing a blue deer chomping down on it. Cinnabon. The prey is here, the shark brain shouted. It's everywhere, but where? The shark could hear a low thump, thump, the stomach gurgling. I could see walls sloping above, sloping below, contracting and expanding ever so slightly. The shark could sense the electricity given off by other living things, could sense a strong surrounding hum, and 4 more weaker pulses. I twisted my head, spinning my entire body in the process. There! A A shark surrounded by, immersed in, blood. Yeah, that's what you fucking are,
God,
too.
you're in blood.
Get it. Prey, I attacked. So she's attacking another shark, who is a friend of hers. I lunged with my huge mouth open, clamped down, tore with my teeth, tossed my head. Ah, something cried in my head. Who's biting me? Oh, right, they are telekinetic. I forgot.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's how they talk to each other, John, when they're in morph mode, is telekinetically.
Yeah. Who's biting me? Jeez, a chunk of my tail is gone. Hey, I was using that.
A chunk? That would be like if I bit your leg and, like, ripped meat off.
And I was like, hey!
And you're like, a chunk of my leg is gone.
Leg. That voice, it sounded familiar. Jake! I'd attacked him.
It's almost like all of you turning into sharks was a terrible idea.
We could just...
Suddenly, I remembered who I was. Rachel. I struggled against the shark brain, fought to regain control. Tobias had warned us. Stupidly, arrogantly, I'd thought he was being overly cautious. I'd been wrong. Jake, are you okay? I asked, telepathically. I lost control. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm having a hard time calming the shark's mind too, Jake said. The blood is driving it crazy.
Is that what you call coming
Cassie?
down, calming the shark's mind?
Cassie, Tobias, Axe, you guys in the driver's seat? I'm cool, Tobias said. I am in control. I am in control's Axe. Sorry, it's probably the ebook I'm reading.
Oh.
We need to focus on something else, Cassie said tensely. Keep our own human minds alert. We swam on.
I'm pretty sure we said this last time, but why wouldn't they just be fucking dolphins? Dolphins wouldn't try to eat each other.
Dolphins need to breathe air. But also, I can't imagine the sharks being able to breathe
other
in stomach
fish,
acid.
like anything with gills.
Or just blood.
A tuna.
Also, John and Bekah, you're getting kind of garbled.
You're getting kind of garbled.
So they have a choice as to what animal they turn into, or I thought maybe they were cursed or something.
They can turn into any animal that they've touched before.
Yeah.
So the fucking conceit right now is that they've all touched a shark.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'll allow it.
We swam on. First Jake, then Cassie, Axe, Tobias, and me. And I. Concentrating on the goal. Stop the Helmacrons to avoid eating one another alive. The current dragged us along the narrow tunnel of blood. A tunnel not completely dark, but extremely dim. But, well, all of it would have been dark, because they're inside a person. A struggle that we've been dealing with the entire time we've been reading this book.
Yeah.
Globs of stuff floated along next to us. Poetry.
Stuff? Globs of stuff?
I believe they're called
Brushed
platelets.
off the tunnel walls.
Hey, be sure to
bounced
use
off-
specific descriptive words. Glob and stuff.
Brushed off the tunnel walls, bounced off our shark bodies. Some were rod-shaped, about the size of grapefruit. Well, in relation to your current size. Others, just shapeless pieces of material. Still others, fuzzy balls, like ping pong balls, stuck all over with cotton.
That sounds like coronavirus. Honestly.
Oh, God.
Right.
Yeah.
Marco was riddled.
Marco was patient zero.
We're about to find out what to do.
We could have warned everyone.
Also, hey, John and Bekah, take your phones off Wi-Fi. Maybe it won't be as garbled.
Well, is that a thing?
Maybe.
Okay.
All right.
What's wrong with Marco's blood, I asked.
Are we
It's
garbled
not
to
red.
John? John, do you find us garbled?
I find you charming.
Okay. I wasn't fishing, but I appreciate it.
I took mine off. Whiffy.
Anything? Is
This
it
is the
better,
guy.
Chris?
This is the guy who tries to respond in a way that doesn't bother anybody. You know,
Also,
I
for the
find you
listener,
very interesting.
We're all talking to each other on our phones while we record separately, and Jonathan will edit it all back together.
Yes, I will.
So when we reference shit that you have no idea what we're talking about, that's what we're talking about.
If we're lucky, some of this might be edited out.
I was just gonna say
know?
we should just cut it out. Like
No, there's no
Responsible people.
editing in this show.
I hate editing this.
I'll edit it. All
right.
right, let's move on.
Moving on. Tell us more about what those dumb fucking sharks are doing.
What's wrong with Marco's blood? I asked. It's not red. You're seeing plasma, Cassie explained. Blood only looks red because it contains so many goddamn red blood cells. Oh. Hey, check it out, Cassie said. Those are red blood cells. The dark red one's pressing up against our gills, about the size of a serving platter. Somehow we're capturing the oxygen molecules without sucking in the blood cells.
What?
I'm not much of a sightseer. Generally, sightseeing puts me in a tedium-induced rage.
What?
This person can't describe moods well. You know, that's not good. That's almost like the descriptive language earlier when they said that it was what was it, a drug addict awash on a sea of drugs?
Yeah.
I love when someone tries to use like an analogy that's supposed to help you understand what's in their story by giving you an image that you're familiar with, to say it's like something.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be
this
something
is a book for kids.
grounding.
Yeah. This book for like 14-year-olds, like, you know how a drug addict feels.
When they're
was
dropped
on
in
the
a vat of
pot
drugs,
once.
which is a thing that ever happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen a drug addict awash in a sea of drugs. All right. Generally, sightseeing puts me in a tedium-induced rage. This was different.
I thought you were going to say
happy to be
sightseeing puts me in a
tourist.
tizzy.
A tizzy.
Makes me all aflutter. This was different. I was happy to be a tourist, especially if it would keep me from going cannibal. Besides, how many suburban girls get to travel down a human vein as a tiny hammerhead shark?
None,
Disney
Rachel.
has nothing on the animal. What? None? Yeah.
Hold on. Can we all appreciate that actual line? Disney has nothing on the Animorphs.
Sued.
I know. I would like to see Disney fold them into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
yeah.
This is a rich mythology.
Avengers
waiting to-
5.
Honestly, that would be kind of awesome.
Disney has nothing on the Animorphs. Red blood cell, red blood cell, red blood cell. After I'd seen a few thousand, I stopped paying attention to them and started to focus on the other floating shapes. What was that? I demanded. Something seriously small passed in front of my eyes. To the sub-mini shark, it was about the size and shape of a pill bug. Oh, God. This is so confusing.
It's so
Pill
confusing
bug
because
with little spikes covering it. A 3D millipede. What? Cassie asked eagerly.
So did I.
the scale gets so fucking confusing.
Yeah. When they're like, they're a fly shape to me, who is the size of a fly. Like,
It's the size of a grapefruit to a shark, but a human that was shrunk and then became a shark. Like, what the fuck does that mean?
Look, you either get it or you don't get it. It's literature.
I do not. And that's fine. Oh, was that the end of the page?
what's happening?
I told
Yes.
you to follow
Oh.
along.
It's me. It's me. I flipped
wait.
forward.
Oh,
Okay. The thing looked out of place. No shit. Sharp and pointed in a world where everything else was soft and oval. Something strange. All sorts of stuff travels in the blood, Cassie said.
I knew that was Cassie.
Food particles.
That fucking know-it-all.
Hormones. Hormones? Jake interrupted.
Wait, food
We're
particles?
swimming in hormones? Again, I spotted the spiny thing. It wasn't just bumping along in the current. It seemed to have a purpose, a mind or a will. I watched as it brushed up against a red blood cell, probed it, then bounced away. I'm not big on superstition or new age crap. All right? Don't read my horoscope.
Wait, is that a line in
It's
there?
Never had my fortune told. But I had a feeling that spiky thing. But I had a feeling about that spike. This is written so badly.
Who is saying this?
Rachel. But I had a feeling about that
Who the fuck knows?
spiky thing. Some primitive, instinctual part of my human brain inside of a shark didn't like it. Rachel, Tobias called. Come on, you're falling behind. I powered my tail and caught up. There's a branch up ahead, Jake said. Listen, Cassie. I think I can hear the helmicrons. So they aren't dead, Jake said grimly. Ah! The pill bug from hell. It was on my morph, probing me. Get it off, I yelled. What? Tobias asked.
Pay attention. Small spiky vitamin pills. I think they could be dangerous. I see one, Axe said. Now it is gone. What happened? A large translucent blob surrounded and consumed it, Axe explained. I saw it too, Jake said. Blob ate it like Pac-Man.
Waka waka.
Blob ate it like Pac-Man.
Blob ate it like Pac-Man.
Silence. Then Cassie began to laugh. What's so funny? I said shakily. This is amazing, Cassie said. Axe and Jake just saw Marco's immune system fight off an invader. That Pac-Man was a white blood cell. So the spiky thing? I asked. A bacterium or a virus, Cassie said. What kind? How should I know? Cassie
COVID-19.
replied. The important thing is that Marco's immune system is working. Oh, yeah, that's the important thing. Rachel's fucking cold-blooded.
She is. Like a shark.
Like a shark. I bet she's a
Sassy.
Capricorn.
Don't read her horoscope.
Oh, I will.
Chapter 18. We continued on down the tunnel that was Marco's vein. When we reached the branch Jake had pointed out, we followed the bloodstream into a wider tunnel. The Helmicron's voices were growing slightly louder. Then, suddenly, dead end! The vein just stopped. We had stumbled into a fun house. Tunnels opened all around us, in every direction. Above the shark's head,
A clown
below
cackled
its
somewhere.
belly. Each one seemed to be different size and shape. Some big enough for us to pass through, some far too small. The
Capillaries.
current had also stopped. I turned the hammerhead to the right and swam in a small
Forgot she was a
circle.
hammerhead.
Well, couldn't they just turn into, like, tiny fishes?
Yeah, like minnows.
I'm sure one of them has touched a goldfish.
No, only sharks.
Which we still don't know how that happened.
Yeah. Like, did they go to the aquarium and she was just like, look around and then, like, just poke?
Yeah, it just stuck her
I'm gonna
hand in.
touch all the things.
Seriously, though, like, we talked about last time, if I was an Animorph, that's what I would do. I'd go to the zoo and I would just be like, I'm gonna touch everything.
I've touched an elephant. I could be an elephant.
That's right.
I think we covered this before.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Walker.
You know, I think most people would be dogs and cats, right? Because that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
For what you've
For
touched.
the lion's share of people, if you get what I'm saying.
Ooh.
Not many people have touched a lion.
I'd like to
though.
see an Animorph Tiger King crossover.
No. No.
No one wants that. I think we talked about this last episode with Kata.
Yeah.
So let's ask John and interrupt this book entirely
Sure, let's take
because
a-
I just started talking. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
John, what's the weirdest animal you could possibly be?
Yeah. What have you touched?
Ooh, do parts of an animal count?
Like the balls?
I think it has to be alive if that's where you're going.
No, because at the zoo where I went as a kid a lot in Birmingham, there was a rhinoceros horn that was in a little thing, but it had a thing where you could reach in and touch it. And they ended up taking the exhibit away because over time, like the oils from people's hands had just worn it down to nothing practically, so they took it out eventually. But yeah, so I've touched a rhinoceros horn, so I could become horn.
Was it a live rhinoceros where they like kind of
No.
wrangled him? Okay.
But there's still like
It was just a
DNA in
horn
the
in a
horn.
case.
Because
Gotcha.
because aren't horns like it's just bone, right?
yeah.
So if you touched the horn of a live rhinoceros, or like the chopped off horn of a dead rhinoceros, neither one of those horns are alive. But in theory, you could still turn into a rhinoceros because you touched a part of a rhinoceros.
As far as we know.
As far as we
Yeah,
know,
I don't know the rules exactly.
I know Andalite.
It was probably covered through books 1 through 40.
You're right.
Or
There's
not
probably
at all.
detail.
There's probably like a book where they go to Birmingham. They're like, let's touch the rhino horn.
Yeah, I've got to touch this rhino horn. See what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we shouldn't say much more because we could be spoiling one of the books that you guys are going to do in the future. But I've also touched a big snake before.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And I also, I've touched a donkey. So I think the donkey might be the
donkey!
most fun animal to be.
That's
They're
awesome.
adorable.
Never touched a
Right?
donkey.
I've touched a goat.
And could you imagine
Yeah, I
me
have to.
halfway to a donkey? How sweet that would be.
Yeah.
How cute.
We said, just be sitting there eating trash. Oh wait, I'm thinking of a goat.
Just a
Yeah.
weird, awful, disgusting, tortured creature that's halfway between a human and a donkey.
And we'd be like, "Are you okay?" And you'd just be like, "Kill me!"
It's braying, and but it sounds a little bit like a human scream. That is
No. It'll be like that really upsetting part in Pinocchio.
Yes.
Oh
Yes. You mean the hottest part of Pinocchio?
Pinocchio could turn into a whale.
That's true.
That's true.
He could.
So could Geppetto.
Very true.
So could
Or does it only count once he becomes a real boy and has DNA?
Wait, didn't one of
question.
them? Didn't Cassie turn into a whale?
Oh,
In the
yeah.
last
Cassie
section?
That
did
is
turn
such
into
a rude
whale.
thing to say.
Also, like, is it retroactive of every animal you've ever touched, or is it only after you got the power?
Only like Animorph forward.
I don't know.
We
These are
made a
great
mistake
questions.
starting at the book that we started.
No, I don't think we made a mistake reading an Animorphs book.
All right,
All right, let
I
us
derailed
continue.
us so hard. Let's get
we'll
back
never
on track.
finish this. Let's continue.
Hey, but as a thing that we can definitely edit out, I want to give a word of advice. If somehow we get cut off, everybody just keep recording, and we'll get back on the phone. But there's no reason to change the recording.
Yeah,
status.
totally.
No, just
yeah.
because that definitely simplifies things. If it's, I don't know, we've learned that with Movie Schmovie. Everybody just keeps recording if somehow our phone call gets cut off.
Yeah.
Because you guys do occasionally get garbled, and I wonder if the connection is going away.
Yeah,
but
you
then
got garbled
You,
at one point too.
But
Yeah,
it
I
came
felt
back.
That's
But
just
you
our
came
shitty
back.
phone
Embarrassing.
service. But let's leave it in and let it be a lesson to anyone listening that records a podcast.
Are you trying to make a podcast during this time of social distancing and just general horror?
Yeah, I feel like any flubs that we have will be forgiven due to the circumstances.
Yeah, we're providing content.
And also less editing for John.
It's true. It's very true.
we have their trust, though. I don't want to lose their trust. Well, it's your show. All right. So I believe Chris had just said, I turned the hammerhead to the right
Yeah.
and swam in a small circle, hovering without progressing. Kind of what we were just doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
God damn
Oh
it.
my god. John Walker, you are a fucking treasure.
Do you want to just be our fourth co-host?
Yes, please.
I think I heard the voices last time, so I'm going to try to do the voices, all right?
All right.
Any idea which way we should go? Jake asked. I'm thinking, Cassie said. The blood cells and miscellaneous blobs that had been washing along beside us were still with us, but no more joined them. What does Axe do? Where does human blood travel after it leaves the stomach? Axe asked calmly.
Axe is like a
He's an alien.
enlightened being. He's like a super smart,
He's like
very
almost
robotic sounding
robotic, yeah.
blue alien deer.
Like,
Okay.
So
no feeling.
yeah.
Where does human blood travel after it leaves the stomach? Axe asked calmly. Almost
Perfect.
basically my voice.
I didn't know it was perfectly describing
You do
John
have the-
Walker.
You do have the most calm voice ever.
It's very soothing.
Axe asked calmly, almost conversationally. People have told me before that I'm almost conversational.
Almost.
That's what I'm trying to remember. Cassie answered. No, I,
Oh no. Fight it, John. Fight it.
Are these not basic facts about your own physiology taught in human schools? Axe said. On the Andalite homeworld, the youngest child is able to... Axe, would you please shut up? I said. Bump. Tobias, knocking up against me. And spread out, you guys. Touchy, touchy. I don't know who that was. We'll just assume that was everybody together. Don't you feel it? Tobias asked. The uneasiness?
What?
I bumped into Jake. Turned to the right, swam in another tight circle. It was a tight circle.
Turn to the right. I was
Turn
just
to the
thinking.
right.
The hammerhead mind
Cupid
is
shuffle.
uneasy, Axe agreed. The shark sensed danger, not fear. Sharks have no understanding of fear. The shark was calm.
I just don't think that's true.
Yeah, is that a thing? Like,
I
we
mean,
can't measure their fear.
They are predators, but there's other sharks that come after them and shit.
Yeah. What? Okay. But it sensed some sort of change in the liquid surrounding us and it wanted to get out. Maybe this is how sharks feel swimming in polluted ocean waters. I don't know.
Oh, topical.
I don't know. The shark's mind didn't offer any explanation. The shark's mind didn't offer any explanation. So you have two brains? Is that how this goes? It just said, haul butt now.
Haul butt?
Haul butt. The
Oh, I
shark
did hear
mind
you,
said,
right.
haul butt now.
It's haul ass.
Haul ass. I clamped down on
It
the
should be tail. Haul tail.
I clamped down on the shark's mind. Now wasn't the time to panic. Sharks can panic. They just can't feel fear. Acid. Acid. Axed. I turned.
Whoa. Hold on.
That sentence is an asshole.
I'm going to need to hear that again.
Acid.
Just breathe.
I can't. I'm in blood. Acid. Asked.
Oh, you did it.
I did it.
Yay.
I tuned. Thank you. God damn it. What? I tuned into the shark's skin. But also, what does that mean?
Like she tuned into the vibes.
I tuned into the shark skin, man. I just gotta feel this shark, man. Ride the wave.
Exactly.
But there was no pain, just a dim sort of tingle that wasn't unpleasant. This shark was coming. Nothing like an all-out agony of being in the stomach's... Nothing like the all-out agony of being in the stomach's violent digestive juices.
Are you going to be okay?
This is a hard one.
This is why we do several takes when we record Pop Second.
It's true. Can't read my own shit. I don't think we... Look, Tobias interrupted. The globs!
The glove.
Oh yeah, Tobias, John Walker, for your benefit. Tobias is
Batman.
an Animorph
that
turned into a hawk, but if you stay into a morph too long,
2 hours.
over an hour,
2 hours.
you're stuck in that form. But the sad part is, his life was so shitty, he prefers being a hawk. And he can still morph into other animals, but like he can never return to human
His
form.
base morph is now Hawk.
okay.
And Rachel feels sorry for him, but he's fine.
Yeah, and also he's Batman.
And he's Batman. Okay, so once again, Tobias said, "Look, the globs." One right in front of me. It wasn't any particular shape or color. A fat molecule, a tiny bit of
Like a glob.
a glob, a tiny bit of adrenaline. No way of knowing. And then, it exploded! I exclaimed. As if a bomb had gone off inside, the glob silently broke into 1,000 pieces. Watch one of the rod-shaped things, Cassie said. I twisted my...
That's a weird sentence.
all of this are weird sentences. I twisted my hammerhead. And turned in another tight right-hand circle. Not backwards. Sharks can't swim backwards. Noted a rod-shaped thing a few inches off to my right, and then, suddenly, it was round and slightly green. Presto changeo, Jake said. What is going on? I feel like the book has given up.
Something is transforming the cellular structure of the molecules around us, Axe said. I think we're in some kind of sorting device.
What?
Look, the round blobs go into that tunnel there, but the rod-shaped ones go up there. Weird but true. Some of the molecules were lining up for the girls' bathroom, others for the boys.
The rods are penises.
I bumped up against Axe. Sorry, I muttered. Turned to the right to swim out of his way. To the right, again.
To the right.
Why? But why? Why? Can they only turn right? Can sharks only turn right?
Yeah, they can't swim
it's
backwards.
a well-known fact.
They can't, it's like Zoolander.
Yeah. Okay, I said. I'm seriously drawn to a particular tunnel. Yeah, me too, said Tobias. The shark is definitely compelled. Axe. Why doesn't it say said axe? Oh my god, this
Don't
fucking
question
book.
the art of this writer.
It's like Rachel at a 50% off sale at the Gap, Cassie said. Resistance is futile. Oh, I think I know where we are. And that would be in the liver. What is a liver? Axe asked. That's not easy
How does
to
it
say.
feel?
It doesn't feel great. An organ, the part of the human body that filters out impurities, Cassie explained. Assuming the liver thinks we're impurities, and it must, it's pushing us into the colon. Suddenly, the current felt stronger. Maybe I was just more aware of it. The colon? You mean we're going to be waste?
Yeah, that's what
All right,
people say.
I'm gonna finish this, and then John can start the
Okay,
next chapter.
sounds good.
Product. Cassie confirmed. Thanks a lot, Marco.
Product?
If we are expelled,
No.
we will not
Poop.
reach the heart.
But
Axe calmly
I've never
stated
heard
the
anyone say
obvious.
product.
I mean, I
As
haven't either,
only
but
Axe can.
Huh?
I haven't either. I'm just assuming she means poop.
Well, I just think it's a weird way to put it.
I mean, I feel like if they were real teenagers, they would all just be going like, "Shit, we're gonna be shit. We're gonna be shit out of shitter." You can't see her now, but I killed Bekah.
We've got to swim, Jake said. Fine, I agreed, but which way? Toward the heart,
Aw.
Cassie said. Which is? I asked. Above the liver, Cassie said. Who said you were directionally challenged?
It's also
About
above
a
the
dozen-
stomach. Like how? What?
It's
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 just
above,
above.
everything.
It's above.
Wait, don't they need to find the fucking Helmicrons? They are getting
What are
pretty
they
sidetracked.
doing?
I
Yes.
thought they were chasing the Helmicrons, and now they're just
Hey.
like, what's this rod? What's this blob?
Let's learn about
Hey,
Marco's
we're
insides.
we're all on a fantastic voyage here.
Ugh,
We're all just saying words, right? At this point, like none of us are actually.
that's basically true.
Yes.
About a dozen tunnels went up and to the left and up and to the right. One tunnel seemed to go straight up. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, Axe said, which seems very out of character.
Yeah, right. I was like, so he knows eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
But he doesn't know what a liver is.
You really have been on Earth too long, I told him. You never fit in on the Andalite homeworld now. I would miss Saturday morning cartoons, Axe said.
I love Axe.
Thump.
He's
Thump.
great.
Thump. And then, click. My brain made one of those sudden leaps, like two puzzle pieces falling together. If only there was a word that could describe that. Like, I don't know, just a spitball. Epiphany.
Damn.
Marco's heart. Thump, 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 thump. Louder, coming from all directions at once. Can we follow the sound? I can't tell exactly where it's coming from, Jake said. Think, Cassie said. What would the liver send to the heart? That's dumb. Blood, I said. Great. Follow that red blood cell.
Oh shit. Okay, John,
Yeah.
we're heading into Marco territory.
Oh, yeah.
I see this.
And he talks like this.
talks like this. I'm Marco.
He doesn't have
He's
to,
a
though.
showman.
I don't remember why that even is a thing.
I don't either, but it's how he is. It's Marco.
Well, no, it's because he was like the comic relief of the group.
He was like the show off, like braggy show off. He's
was
the
the one
Mark
that's
of
just
the
like,
group.
oh yeah, that's rich.
Did you know he was going to have point of view chapters when you chose that voice for him?
No. Once
No.
when we got to the first one, we were like, uh-oh, what have we done to ourselves?
Right. This is sort of like you create Elmo, and then eventually someone's doing like an audiobook
Yeah, here's the thing.
by Elmo.
I think
Also-
you don't have to read the entire chapter in his voice, just when he's speaking.
I just want to acknowledge the great Sesame Street joke on The Good Place when
You've got
what's
to.
his face, Ted Danson didn't know what Sesame Street was, and then all of a sudden he watched it in a matter of seconds, and he's just like, "Oh, Elmo!" and then very quickly went like, "Oh no, they overused him."
I don't remember that, but
I
it's a
don't
good
either.
joke.
That's great.
It's my favorite joke on that entire show.
Oh my god.
No, you said I don't have to do it unless he's speaking, but I'm going for it.
Oh,
I'm going
Jesus.
for
All
full
right.
Marco saturation.
All right.
That's why we love you.
All right. I'm drinking some water right now.
So just to get you into Marco's headspace, he just broke into someone's apartment and punched their dog.
Okay.
And he did not find the camera he was looking for, so
Yeah.
it was an
And
utter
it
failure.
it was all a failure.
in which he also punched a dog.
I'm lucky I can pull on personal experience to create this character, so I'm there.
I mean, who
boy.
hasn't been there?
To go to an interior place and emerge as Marco. Here we go. Chapter 19 by me, Marco. When I finally got home from my pathetic attempt at breaking and entering, I put on a long-sleeved sweatshirt. Couldn't let Dad see my wrist. Didn't want him to know I'd been trying to rob some kid when his deranged dog took a chunk out of me. I dabbed some hydrogen peroxide on the puncture marks. Added a little Neosporin. Wished for ibuprofen. No, ibuprofen. My whole arm throbbed. But so what? A little dog bite wasn't going to kill me. The Helmicrons had that under control. Yay. In a way, I welcomed the pain. It reminded me I was alive for now. The afternoon, as all afternoons do, dragged on.
I'm dying.
My face hurts.
Oh my god. All right, I have to do it too. And I had no idea what was going on inside me. Hours passed, and all I heard was from my friends were occasional strange orders. Don't sneeze. Don't eat or drink anything. Don't poop. I wanted to tell them
Did
to
they say that?
No.
No.
I wanted to tell them to include me in their thought speak. Maybe. I mean, did I really want to know what a group of morphing warriors and egomaniacal lunatics were doing to my delicate internal tissues? I contacted Mr. King. What?
Who?
Okay. Had the Chi show up for dinner as Jake, Rachel, and Cassie. What? What? I contacted Mr. King, had the... Period.
Well, so the Chi can turn into different people, so maybe they were impersonating his friends so they could go have dinner and not look like they're
it
missing.
wasn't a question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's like every other sentence in this book is missing like an important article of the sentence.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Dinner! I told my dad I was sick. Just after the sun went down, I fell asleep, sprawled across my bed. About an hour later, I woke up feeling weird, sweaty, wild, angry. Angry at the Helmicrons. It wasn't fair that I couldn't protect myself. Stupid freaking ...
Stupid freaking ...
Stupid motherfuckers. Stupid freaking was my funk band in college.
Was it stupid with 2 O's?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The usual hangout and chili routine was not going to happen. Oh, chill routine.
Hang out and chili. It's Netflix and chill, but hang out and chili.
Netflix and chill. Hang out and chili.
Now.
Oh, shit. I was too restless. Needed to do something. Got up and started to pace. Door to windows. Windows to door. Back, forth.
Pace Picante. New York City.
And the anger continued to grow. I wanted to punch another dog. Welled and surged and wouldn't be held in check by my usual habit of black humor, transforming tragedy into comedy. There wasn't one joke in me, but there were many Helmicrons and friends. Maybe I just missed my audience. What? Marco is going crazy.
He's like, all my friends are in my body. I have no one to entertain. I'm dying.
I'm picturing him like naked, covered in like ash, just walking around the room going, ah!
Someone laugh at my jokes.
Anyway, I was in an exceptionally foul mood. I could do the voice.
Yeah, I will. Left
My
side?
waveform is so big.
I know, I've been trying to turn you down. A soft knock at the
That's
door.
what she said.
Huh? It opened. My dad stuck his head in. Marco, hey, I thought I heard you moving around. How are you feeling? Fine. Dad pursed his lips, came in and put a hand against my cheek. You're flushed, and you feel a bit hot. I turned away. I said it was fine. Okay. He was taken aback by my reaction. Well, if you're feeling better, Nora and I have that dinner party. It's a work thing. If you don't need me to stay with you. I immediately saw the opportunity. Go, I said soothingly. I'm just going to rest. Read that book for English. Everything's normal here. He probably
Talk
just...
fine, right, my dad.
Becca,
Yeah.
Becca, normally I think you do great, but I think you need to say go soothingly.
Okay. Go.
There you go.
I'm going to rest. Read that book for English. He probably didn't buy that last part, but he headed for the door.
He knows I'm illiterate.
Okay, he said.
Because
Well,
he doesn't love him.
I'll leave the number on the refrigerator. Give us a call if you start to feel worse. I'll be fine, I said again through suddenly clenched teeth.
Oh yeah, this is pre-cell phone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is when you had to leave numbers for the places you were going.
What a world.
What a world. Dad left. 10 minutes later, I heard the car pull out of the driveway. I waited another couple minutes. Then I went down to the basement, rooted around in the freezer until I found a steak. Upstairs in the kitchen, nuked it until it was defrosted and warm.
Yeah.
Gross.
That's
Bad way to
sounds
cook
like
it.
not how to cook a steak.
It was well done already.
No, I think I know where he's going.
Oh my god, I'm so... Wait. Where am I?
It's Chris next.
Yeah,
Oh, did you already... Yes.
yeah. So it's me now.
Yes.
Calm down, John.
I'm excited about a thing that I accidentally looked at.
Then
Are we
I
gonna
got
finish
my
this with
bike out of the garage.
Are we going to finish this with
I was going to get the camera. So what if I couldn't morph? So what if my friends couldn't help me? So what if Cujo had practically ripped my arm off? That camera was mine. The ratty-looking Chi was still on guard. That meant that the camera, if not the kid, was still inside.
That's rude.
For about half a second, I wondered if I should ask for his help. Maybe he could throw a hollow around me, make it easier to sneak into the apartment. Rejected the idea. It would probably violate the cheese code of non-violence. What a joke. I could do this alone. The kid's apartment building looked even more decrepit at night.
I bet they
Like
couldn't
a
punch
poor
any dogs.
person. But I felt no fear. They were just poor dogs. I walked straight over the fence and across the concrete lot to the fire escape. It was still hanging down the way I'd left it. I charged up. Cujo was waiting. Oh, he growled deep in his throat when he saw me on the fire escape. Then he flung himself madly against the window, totally airborne. Toenails clicking on the wooden sill, drool flying, teeth gleaming.
Totally airborne, just like COVID-19, right, guys?
Oh,
Totally
man.
airborne, like the
Topical.
great movie
Topical.
Airborne.
Yeah, very, very topical.
Wait.
Very good choice, this book, as it turns out.
The great movie Airborne?
Mm-hmm.
The rollerblading movie?
It's a
What?
great movie.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
There's a rollerblading movie?
Yeah, we watched it. Airborne.
Oh,
The one
yeah.
where it's
I
the-
watched it?
The surfer kid who like
With
moves
Seth
to like
Green.
Ohio and is like a good at rollerblading. Seth Green's in it.
Oh.
And it has a line in it that I still carry to this
And
day,
isn't the-
which is like, a great wise man once said, I am what I am, and that's what I am. And then it turns out it was
I
Popeye.
cannot believe you like that movie. Legitimately.
I mean, I haven't watched it as an adult, but I watched it a lot on cable as a
Well,
kid.
you should watch it as a 30-something-year-old.
No.
Yeah,
Keep
no,
your
I'm not going to go
adorable
down the
memories.
devil's backbone as a 30-year-old. Also, I'm not a 30-year-old. I'm a 34-year-old.
I said
That
30-something
was
because I
generous of
couldn't
you, Chris.
remember. Anyway, John's got
by
a
the way-
really good page.
Have you ever done a thing where people do sound effects while the other people are reading? Like, for instance, when he said he charged up, if you had somebody going like whoop, 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 like in the background, that might be kind of...
Jonathan usually does that, yeah.
Well, the closest we came to that was when we
whoopee
had the
cushion?
whoopee cushion and
Yeah.
you used it for every fucking sound imaginable. And it was horrible and I hated it. Don't look for it. I think it's dead.
I don't have the whoopee cushion, but I do have our other amazing prop.
Oh, yes. Don't tell them.
I won't. Wait.
Just wait
I
for-
know
wait for a
exactly what
sound.
it is.
I'll wait for any sound. Oh God.
All right.
Do you want me to hold the book open for you?
Yeah, just.
Okay.
Oh wait, yeah. Thank you.
All right. I grabbed the bottom of the rickety window and yanked it up about halfway. Arf, 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 arf. Cujo's snapping jaws were inches from my throat. Stuff it, I said, tossing the steak into the room. He lay down
knew
with it
that's what he was
between his
gonna do.
paws, licked, slobbered, seemed to be having a hard time eating it. Something was wrong with his jaw. Maybe he had lost a tooth gnawing my arm off.
Or maybe it's from when you punched him.
That's true. That could have been when it happened. I don't know.
Marco Vic.
Oh,
Hey, look,
shit.
man, I'm just trying to get through my chapter, okay? Stop being so judgy. I heaved the window open even farther, dropped down onto the floor and eased around the slavering dog. The camera was a few feet away, still sitting on the kid's desk. I just closed my fingers on the bright yellow box when I heard voices in the hallway, surprisingly close. Wow. Cujo heard them too. So the dog's name is actually Cujo.
Yeah.
I don't think
first
it.
few
No,
times-
Well,
I think he's just
it's what
being
he calls
rude.
him.
Yeah.
Okay. He says it a lot. It's like he's really proud of that, nickname. All right. Cujo
didn't
heard
know
them
his
too.
arm.
He rose to his feet and growled at me, blocking my only exit. Door, people, cops, juvie hall, window, Cujo.
Me talk good.
Two options. Both bad. Either way, I was going to get caught.
Oh my god. Me, Marco. Me, Phil, second grade. All right. Chapter 20. Back to Rachel. Thank God.
Thank God.
Thank God.
No, you did that wonderful.
Yeah, that was incredible. I can't wait to hear it better. Thump, thump. Pause. Thump, thump. As we swam, the beating grew louder and louder until it was impossible to hear anything else. Impossible to know what the Helmicrons were near. Axe didn't ask questions. Tobias did...
Can we? We should have set this rule early on to just say axe instead of ask. Just like Futurama.
Yeah, exactly.
Axe didn't ask any questions.
Axe didn't ask any questions. Tobias...
Bite my shiny middle ass.
Oh, shit. Tobias didn't make any dark observations like Batman would. Jake didn't talk strategy. Cassie didn't point out any landmarks. Cassie didn't point out any landmarks. That's what you have to say about Cassie. What you should say is
Cassie seems like a piece of shit who doesn't contribute anything.
What you should say is Cassie didn't say anything about the fucking scientific shit because she's a goddamn know-it-all.
She's the only one keeping them from fucking everything up.
I mean,
because she actually knows some science.
That's true. That's true. We were overwhelmed by the incredible... I'm channeling Rachel.
That's fine.
Rachel hates everyone.
She's very bitter.
Yeah,
for
she's
some
not
reason.
cool. We were overwhelmed by the...
I like her.
I mean, I'd be friends with her probably. Like, if out of all these people...
I'd be friends with Cassie and Axe.
Cassie seems insufferable.
No, she's smart. She knows shit. She can tell me all
She's
about
always
blood.
like, that's this.
Yeah, like,
and then
no,
Rachel's like, shut up,
that-
Cassie.
This is that.
We were overwhelmed by the incredible reverberating noise surrounding us. The sound of Marco's beating heart. Thump, thump. Pause.
I still don't understand why they're going to his heart.
I don't know.
Just to not get shit out of him? But like,
Oh, wait.
They were chasing the Helmicrons.
Weren't the Helmicrons going to the heart?
Were they?
Wasn't that the thing? I think that was the thing. They were going to stop his
I
heart.
think so.
I guess.
I think
they
that's-
haven't talked about the Helmicrons this entire chapter.
That's true.
Or
If I
section.
remember a month and a half ago, I think that's what they were doing.
now that I'm... Yeah. It's a memory is stirring inside me.
Ooh.
Thank you. It's sensual.
Oh my god.
Gross.
Thump, thump. Each beat vibrated through my body, overpowering any human thought or emotion. We didn't have a plan for capturing the Helmicrons. I didn't try to think of one. Really fucking helpful, Rachel.
She's like me. She just rushes head first with no plan.
You would be friends with Rachel.
I would be.
Closer, closer. Thump, thump. The sound became so intense I felt it would blow me apart. But it was a wonderful sound. As long as we experienced that thump, thump, Marco was still alive.
Oh, God.
The red blood cells were... the red blood cells we were chasing had changed color. They were darker now. Maroon, the color of a scab.
Burgundy.
Cassie didn't need to explain what was happening. I'd read the Magic School Bus too. Red?
Nice.
Was it a
Red?
book?
Yeah. I guess they were books.
Chris, I feel like you would know the answer.
What?
Was Magic School Bus a book?
It was a book first.
I didn't know that.
And then it became a show.
Adapted
Yeah.
for the screen.
Yeah. It's an amazing work of art.
I did not
Also,
know.
I just want to clarify, I would love to make Sweet Science with Miss Frizzle.
That
Noted.
seems on brand.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris.
Sweet science. I love it. Close to the heart, the level of oxygen in the blood cells was low. The cells would pass through the heart and then into the lungs to pick up more oxygen. Less oxygen in the blood cells meant less oxygen for the sharks.
Uh-oh.
But we couldn't turn back. We had to stop the Helmicrons from killing Marco. Do or die. The vein through which we were traveling grew larger. Other veins emptied into it, and the current picked up. This time it was like moving from a small street to a larger road to a busy throughway, then finally to a 6-lane superhighway. Ahead was a sort of aperture of flesh. I don't care for that phrase.
What you might call a sphincter.
No.
And we all know preteens are very fluent in the terms of infrastructure.
An aperture of flesh.
That's my band name.
As the current swept us along, it
In
opened
terms of
wider,
infrastructure.
wider.
Fluttering in front of the opening were 3 red sheets of flesh.
Ew.
Gross.
So gross. So gross. Oh my god.
Was this book written by David Cronenberg?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, okay. It has those touches, but I mean, come on.
Ew.
Hey,
It's going to get grosser.
They moved like curtains.
Meat curtains?
They moved like curtains blowing in an open window, like those felt strips at the beginning of a car wash. As the valve widened,
Ugh.
they blew inside. The current was smooth, but powerful. The heart was sucking us in. Closer, closer, closer. Then, slump.
What?
The aperture closed. The curtains of flesh sealed together with a wet sucking
Ew!
noise. We slowed, stopped. We were in a vast opening just outside the heart, surrounded by an ocean of blood, as if that wasn't what they were in beforehand.
They were in a river of blood.
That's okay, Cassie said. The valve must be to keep the blood from flowing back this direction. Thump. How are we going to stay inside the heart? How are we going to stop ourselves from being swept out into the lungs, Tobias called. I'm not sure we can fight this current. We don't know if the Helmicrons can either. Oh shit, I fucked that line up. We don't know if the Helmicrons can either. Just be ready to fight, Jake shouted. Assuming the Helmicrons are inside the heart now.
Okay. Also,
I've given up on voices because this is getting too intense.
here's the other
The
thing.
thing, Chris, you don't have to do voices when the characters are exquisitely written so differently. Each one has such different syntax and identity.
And when they just like fail to clarify who's saying what.
But I mean,
Exactly.
they're such well-developed characters that just the slightest indication, and you totally know who it is that's speaking. So I have a question: Is every bit of communication that we're seeing telepathic at
Yes.
this point? Because
When they have those brackets, the lesser than, greater than symbols around them, it's the telepathic.
okay,
Here's
I was
the
wondering about that.
other thing that I forgot to catch John up on. When they shrunk themselves to go into Marco's body to chase the Helmicrons, they fucked up and they shrunk themselves too much. So they are very small compared to the Helmicrons, who are very small. Like, they shrunk themselves too much. So already...
Guys, you got to get it together. You
Yeah.
got to get it together before you go on one of these missions.
It's-
You're going to shrink yourselves down to the correct size, or there's going to be problems.
It's just crazy
Oh,
that they're still trying...
they're teenagers.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I got to say, maybe these Animorphs haven't quite proven their mettle yet.
42
maybe-
books.
Yeah.
They don't even know what that word is.
You don't think this is the adventure where they finally get their shit together?
What if it was?
Let's find out.
All right.
Thump. The valve began to open. The curtains began to billow
Gross.
in. Then we flowed into the first chamber of the heart. I love that 80s song.
Is that a Rush song? Chamber of the Heart.
I think it's more like Bonnie Tyler or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Things happen fast.
There you go.
Yeah.
That
Turn
almost sounded
around, I shouted.
identical.
I found it, and then I clinked my teeth.
Oh no.
Swim against the current. Furious turbulence. Blood was flowing past so fast I could hardly suck in any oxygen. Imagine swimming up Niagara Falls and seeing a drug addict awash in a sea of drugs.
Yes, I picture it perfectly.
Imagine swimming up Niagara Falls as a
swimming
shark.
up Niagara Falls,
you're
as we all have
also a
done.
shark.
Okay, I'm glad now you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And the walls were contracting like a trash compactor. Wait, who's speaking now? Obey me, foolish male. Dracon beams will only fire in liquid if you increase the power
Helmicron.
too full.
Yes! I'm so excited. I love them.
Oh shit, they're fighting. They're infighting.
Yes, they always are.
yeah,
that will be the
also,
downfall
Grow
of the
weary
Helmicrons.
of your meddling female. I will blast on low if I choose.
Yes!
The Helmicrons, Tobias shouted. Oh, no, wait. Tobias is like...
Batman.
He's Batman. The Helmicrons.
There you go.
Tobias shouted.
Found it.
Where are they? Cassie yelled. Jake, they can't shoot, I hissed. Stop, Jake cried in general thought speak.
What?
Put down your weapons and we will help you out of here. We will even let you use the power source. Wait, is that still Jake? That doesn't sound like my Jake.
Well, yeah, because he's like the leader.
All right, okay. I didn't know that Jake was a take charge kind of guy.
We've been.
Aha! One of the Helmicrons shouted.
I think it was like a quarterback or something.
Yeah.
Too late. We shoot on my count. 1. I couldn't see the Helmicrons, but I could smell them.
What?
Gross.
I hope I get a
Somewhere in the
Helmicron
heart.
page.
What? 5 of them. Okay. Maybe that sounds like one less than 6. Maybe tangled in one of the tissue sprays that concealed, that connected the walls
What?
like chaotic Gothic arches.
What? Is that in the book? Chaotic Gothic arches?
That is a phrase that has no fucking place in this fucking book.
I am so mad. I am incensed.
John just hangs up.
I'm incensed that I was given this garbage sentence to read.
Oh my gosh.
What the fuck?
Maybe this is at the point where the author stopped actually writing them and just sent outlines to ghostwriters, which is the thing.
Well, that's what this book is. At a certain point, K.A. Applegate stopped writing these books and just outsourced them. So most of the Animorphs, especially the latter half, are not written by her. Anyway.
How great would it be to be a successful writer where you're so successful you don't even have to write your own fucking book?
It's like, I don't know, the Helmicrons, fucking do whatever. All right, so I'm going to go...
Yeah, they showed up in their dildo-shaped spaceship
I
on a
forgot it was
Barbie
shaped like
Jeep.
a
Oh my
dildo.
God! They were driving the
They
Barbie
were
Jeep.
driving a Barbie Jeep. John,
I
you
love
should
the
go back and
Helmicrons.
listen to our last episodes because they're really good.
Our last 3 episodes.
Okay, so I'm going to read that last sentence again that John just read because it is pure art. She said I could smell them somewhere in the heart, 5 of them, maybe tangled in one of the tissue sprays that connected the walls like chaotic Gothic arches. Maybe...
Oh, I hope that guy got paid a lot.
Maybe bubbling. Maybe bobbing in the thrashing ocean of blood. I don't know, and I don't care. And I didn't care what happened to the other 4 Helmicrons. Maybe the liver had taken them. Maybe they had been washed away by the last heartbeat. I am Rachel, and I am cold and heartless. The Helmicrons...
Unlike Marco.
Yeah. The Helmicrons were enormous compared to my shark morph, and armed. But I was going to stop them from shooting if it was the last thing I did. All of these thoughts passed in about 1 second. I turned my flattened rudder of a head and began to swim. The excellent shark sense of smell told me that one of the Helmicrons was to my left. Prince Jake, we have to stop them now. Go! Jake shouted. No! Powering through a forest of tissue strands and an ocean of blood, hunting for the Helmicrons. Tissue, turn, left! 2! The Helmicron shouted. No!
2?
Frantically, you're...
They were counting down.
Oh.
Okay.
2! The Helmicron shouted. No! Frantically, I fought the current, pushed and strained with my tail. My flippers struggled for every paltry inch. Do those 2 pages.
Okay. And meanwhile, the walls around me closed in as Marco's heart prepared to beat. Tissue! Turn! Tissue! Exclamation point. Turn. Another left. Push, push, push. The shark was exhausted, and the Helmicron smell was only the faintest bit stronger. Thump! The first part of Marco's heartbeat.
Thump.
The heartbeat that might be his last!
Oh, God.
Fuck a Marco chapter. Chapter 21.
Oh, no.
Fucking Marco.
Marco!
What's wrong with Buster? A voice just outside the door. Female. Maybe the photographer's mother, sister, aunt. Buster? Oh, come on. This dog was no Buster. Bruiser, maybe. Fang, killer, psycho. But not Buster.
It looks like someone punched Buster.
Buster's bloodshot eyes were on me, blocking the window, my only escape. I could hide under the bed, except the metal frame was only about 6 inches off the ground. No way. The door handle turned. I jumped for the closet and crashed into the flimsy sliding doors. Great. The woman in the hall had to hear... The woman in the wall had to hear that.
I was just going to...
Okay, so I just came up with a solution for all their problems before going into his body, because they told him not to morph. What if he morphed into an insect
crushed all
right
of
after the Helmicrons entered his
Yeah,
body?
and just crushed all of
like
them.
before his friends went in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
That
would have been a
prob-
good idea.
like just did that right
Yeah.
away.
That probably would have solved everything.
Got rid of that problem. All right.
Damn it.
Too late to run. What the heck had I been thinking? I closed the doors behind me, scooted down onto a pile of sweaty smelling clothes, back toward the corner. Whoosh! Buster's head was a wedge, shoving open one of the sliding doors. He bounded into the closet and went for my ankle.
Why are you so good
A
at that?
strange rage filled me. I lifted the shoe.
I
A
lifted
very
the
low
shoe.
voice in a very low voice in my head said, "Dangerous dog, be afraid."
What?
No.
What?
Was he
Buster, good
saying
dog.
that to the dog?
I think that's Marco saying Buster, good dog.
I have nothing is clear in this book.
It's true. Oh, wait.
Buster,
you're right.
good dog. Buster turned toward the sound of his master. A split-second hesitation before biting off my head. That gave me just long enough to decide. Morph or get caught. Morph or get chewed up like a milk bone. Product placement. Yeah, I'd promised Jake I wouldn't morph, but I hadn't heard from my so-called friends in hours and hours. For all I knew, they could be dead.
What's the difference
A
if I
little
kill
voice
them?
in my head. A little voice in my head. That intangible but incredibly annoying thing called a conscience. Fuck, I hate my conscience. Was concerned. Marco, it said, can't you see something is wrong with you? What were you doing?
I don't think that's a conscience. I think that's another personality in there with you.
The fuck?
You're a sociopath.
He is DID.
Where's your compassion? It's just a dumb dog doing what he's supposed to do.
John
And
sounds
your
like
friends,
Marvin the Martian.
their lives are valuable. Roach, I answered. I felt the charges. It could be charges, but I felt the changes begin at the same time I heard footsteps crossing the room. Each morph is different. I'd gone roach plenty of times before, but each experience is completely unique. This time my skin hardened first, then vision pixelated. Compound roach eyes with about 2,000 lenses ballooned up out of my eye sockets.
He's fucking
2,000
morphing?
busters.
Yeah.
2,000 sets of snapping teeth. 4 legs exploded out of my sides and I fell forward. My arms fused to my sides, then
exploded.
re-emerged as delicate wings. Bing, bang, zoom. Buster tilted his head and moaned as I shrank down to the size of a quarter. Don't eat me, I warned him silently. I have enough problems already. My antenna twitched as the roach's amazing sense of smell surged to life. Roaches can smell anything. The closest smell, the closet. Smelled of sweat and dog pee and laundry detergent.
Ew, what fucking gross apartment
Buster
is this?
took a step back and moaned again. The closet door burst open.
Like, he couldn't have just taken a knife with him or something, or just not
and
done
killed
that.
the dog?
But, or he could have just not done that. He's
I
gonna
mean,
kill all his friends.
It's true.
Bekah the dog.
I don't want to kill a dog. If it was actually between me killing all my friends or a dog, I'd kill the dog.
Yeah.
But he didn't have to
I'm telling
fucking go
Puck
there.
what you thought.
No, don't tell Puck I said anything.
Oh, sick! Someone yelled. I'm going to sue that filthy landlord. Honey, bring a shoe. I just caught the world's biggest roach. I can sue someone over that.
I wish I knew that when we lived in Hamden.
Then came the change I had been waiting for. Puberty. With a With a sickening lurch, my innards began to twist and change. Ah! Someone yelled in my head. Marco is morphing! Cassie shouted. Something must be wrong. Marco must be in trouble of his own doing. And so now I could hear them all. Must be in morph. We do not know how this will affect us. Axe said unnecessarily.
It said unnecessarily?
It says unnecessarily.
That's rude.
It could be deadly.
Why put it in?
Marco, cut it out now, Rachel screamed. That's an order, Jake shouted. My friends were still alive, and they sounded terrified because I was killing them. Good for them. I'm gonna read this next page.
This book's amazing.
Is that real?
Yeah. Well, not the killing part.
Okay.
Most of it was real. Chapter 22. Back to Rachel.
All of it was real.
An inch. One more inch and a Helmicron would be down to 3 legs. I pumped my tail hard, opened my mouth to bite, then thump! I was yanked away from the Helmicron, spun, head over tail, another aperture, this one on the opposite side of the chamber, rapidly opened. It grew from a crack to a hole to a chasm. Blood started to flow out of the chamber, sweeping all of us along with it. Are the Helmicrons being washed out too? Jake shouted. I can't tell, I answered. Try to stay inside, someone said. Didn't say who.
The new page?
Yep.
Come on, Jonathan. You know their syntax. Only Cassie would say it that way.
I strained, tried with every cell to resist the sucking of the current, and still I lost ground. I am unable to maintain my position, Axe called. And then, the chamber all around me began to shift and blur. The forest of tissue melted like heated wax. Ew!
Gross.
But the changes continued. The chamber surrounding us shrank down, down, down. Half the size it was. Half that. Then half
Killing all
that.
his friends.
Smaller, smaller, smaller. The root-like tissues came unglued, bounced like loose electrical cables, and then sucked up into the walls.
What?
Fiendish alien! You will not destroy the Helmicron Knights! We will... Rah! I don't even
What is that
know
word?
how to do this next word. Slong?
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 Slong.
I thought it was sloom.
Sloong? I don't fucking know.
Sloong!
The wall separated this chamber of the heart from the next. Wait, hold on. The walls separating this chamber of the heart from the next stretched like a rubber band and exploded. The red blood faded to rose, then pink, then white. Air! Would we still have air without the red blood cells? I gasped and found I could still breathe. The noise was deafening. I wanted to cover my ears, but I had no ears, no hands. An earthquake, a tornado, a volcano, a tidal wave, a monsoon! It's fucking dramatic.
Oh my god.
You will grovel for this. Marco, Jake shouted. You better be in serious trouble because things are not pretty in here.
Game over, man.
Bong, bong, bong. Ah, I screamed. An enormous nightmare glob of pulsing organ bulged in front of me. Then it did a fast forward shrivel and disappeared. Watch out, Tobias shouted. What looked like a femur poked into the chamber and caught me on the head. I spun, knocking into Jake and one of the Helmicrons. Just relax, Cassie urged.
Go with
it should
it.
be over soon. Seconds later, poof, the hurricane was over. Marco's morph was complete. Hey, you guys, Marco called with a laugh. Ha ha, still alive or what? As if I care. Stool alive, Jake said shakily. We were squashed together in a tiny space filled with bluish-white liquid.
What?
The walls surrounding us were smooth, and they were squeezing together. Another trash compactor, only dollhouse-sized compared to what the fuck they were. Probably an insect of some sort. Marco, what kind of morph are we in? Axe said.
Isn't it obvious? Marco said nastily.
No.
Just tell us, Tobias replied. Wait, is that still Marco next? Okay. You haven't told me anything for hours. Now I'm supposed to be all Mr. Communication.
Classic Marco.
Oh, very mature, I snapped. Yeah, it's total Marco. Okay, so Marco had good reason to feel the way he did. 5 of his friends up his nose, Dracon beams, blasting his stomach lining, yada, yada, yada. But come on, he sounded like a spoiled 2-year-old. By the way, that's exactly how it was written.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
not me embellishing.
Yeah, that's insane.
Marco was often annoying, but never stupid.
Really?
Would you like to...
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
We made him kind of sound stupid, but I
The
don't know.
book made him sound stupid, John. He broke into someone's
Would you like to
apartment
explain-
twice to punch the same dog.
Would you like to explain why you morphed? Jake demanded. Why you morphed when I told you it could kill us? I plead the 5th. Jake, to us. If I were a real general, I'd court-martial his sorry, oh, this guy.
What?
Wait, what?
Then, from a mumble of alien parts,
What?
a Helmicron shouted, "Ha ha! No doubt you thought we were killed by the transforming of our pitiful hostage, but we were still alive. We shall rule the universe yet."
I hope they will.
I
I'm
hope
on
they
their
kill
side.
everyone.
What are the Helmicrons, by the way?
Tiny aliens.
What did I write down?
What do they look like?
I just wrote down tiny aliens.
I don't know if they
Tiny.
ever say what they look like. They just that they're tiny.
We'll Google it later.
Frankly, that's all you need to know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're off and running with this story. But with characters, these characters crackle on the page,
They
so
really
you don't
do.
really need too much more detail than that. And before any of us, Jake or Cassie, Axe or Tobias, before even I could do anything to stop them, the Helmicrons fired in unison. Tsew! Tsew! Tsew!
Tew! Tew!
I forgot about that sound. Tsew!
No! I screamed, and then silence. Marco! Cassie cried. Marco! Can you hear us? Nothing. Marco! Marco! Cassie cried again, a wrenching sound, horrified, full of pain. He can't hear you, Cassie, Jake said, his voice strangely flat. Next, I heard Tobias's voice. Who would have predicted this? Who would have thought the Helmicrons were more dangerous than the Yeerks?
Oh, fuck this book.
Neep! 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 A cheer went up from the Helmicrons. A strange coldness swept through me. Not sadness, not exactly, because I did hate Marco. In a way, I was prepared for this. Because we had been through so many missions, so much danger, that one of us should die seemed inevitable, undeniable. And then...
Again, this is a book
It was
for children.
unavoidable.
Book for children. And then... fury. A wave of fury. Like a kick to the gut. I wanted those Helmicrons dead.
Oh, man.
What chapter is this?
Chapter 23.
I'm excited for this chapter.
Okay. I'm going to read this first because it will make sense. This is from the log of the Helmicron males.
Okay.
Oh, majestic leader, humans are a race of fools. We told them time and time again that Helmicrons do not surrender, and yet they delude themselves, believing that we would deal with them simply because we have suffered minor injury. Does it not make you laugh and prove that we are the only fit rulers of the universe? From the log of the Helmicron males.
That was perfect.
Neep! Neep! Ah! I attacked while the Helmicrons were still cheering Marco's death. I bit clear through a Helmicron's leg with my powerful shark jaw. The Helmicron jerked. He didn't lose his balance, but I felt something heavy fall near me.
Cassie, Axe, Grab the Dracon beam, I shouted. Jake, Tobias, hack through the walls.
Hack the mainframe.
But Marco, Tobias said.
God.
Marco is dead, I said savagely. Do it.
Savagely.
No!
Wait, was I not paying attention? When did Marco die?
At the end of the last chapter.
How?
I don't think he's dead.
I mean, he's not.
I don't think he's dead either, but I seriously.
Because they fired to the tissues.
Oh, they
the
were
tissues.
shooting his heart?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tissues.
Tissues. Sorry.
There were
forgive me.
5 tissues.
No! Jake shouted. We have to, Cassie said quietly.
We have to,
We have
Jake
to.
said.
We must fight to save ourselves, Axe said. There will be time for morning later. Fine, Jake said bitterly.
Foy.
The treacherous aliens have severed my limb, the Helmicron cried. But I shall still hobble on to victory. We must seize the power source, another Helmicron shouted. The brave Helmicron female shall lead the way.
Yes!
Girl power.
We got the beam.
Okay, hold on. We got
Cassie
the beam.
shouted.
Don't tell me that you
Now
don't want to hear
what?
the Go-Go song, We Got the Beat. with
We got the beam. We got the beam. We got the beam. Yeah. Dracon beam. To see you.
Thank you,
To
Jonathan.
see you. All right. Words
I give
to
that
live
song
by.
3 tissues.
We'll tunnel through to the lungs, I said. You and Axe get inside, demorph, and turn that beam on them. The rest of us will bite a few holes in these creeps. One problem, Cassie said. That Dracon beam is bigger than the human me. How am I going to pick it up?
Oh my god.
Ant power, I said.
What?
Schwarzenegger, right. Whoosh. A pillow of air escaped from Marco's lung.
What?
Ant power. She's telling
A
Cassie
pillow
to turn
of air
into
has
an
escaped
ant.
from a dead child's lung.
It's just really.
Ants can pick up heavier than they
Yeah,
are.
I know.
I just like what John said.
On page 125, guys, you can mark it. All right. Bingo, Jake yelled. We got the lungs.
We got the lungs. We got
We've
the
got
lungs.
the lungs.
Yeah, we got the lungs.
Tobias shouted. By then, the other 4 Helmicrons had lost a limb, being forced to drop their weapons, quieted down some, and then well, no, there's no and then.
Yes?
There's no and then. And when they realized we were now armed, well, they were suddenly interested in dealing. Perhaps a strategic alliance is in order, one of the Helmicron males said. You will help us power up our ship? And you will, Jake prompted. Conquer all of the other planets in the universe before returning to crush Earth. Tempting, Jake said. Don't deal with these idiots, I said angrily. I say we waste them and bail. Plus, they're talking like Marco, not like they were talking before. I'm not sure what's going on. I've had enough death for one day, Cassie. See, my concept of a female voice has matured since my previous falsetto
It's very
character. Cassie said. Letting them power up their ship won't do any harm. If we'd suggested that in the beginning, Marco might still be alive. Okay, Helmicrons, you have 2 choices, Jake said. Choice 1, we march out of here together. You unshrink us. We let you see the blue box once to power up your engine. What the fuck is he talking about? Okay.
It hardly matters.
We let you use
Yeah,
the blue
doesn't
box
matter.
once to power up your
It's the
engines.
thing that gave them their morphing powers.
the MacGuffin.
Get off our planet.
the MacGuffin.
Never. Helmicrons are masters of the... Shut up and listen to your second choice, I shouted. We are listening to your unworthy scheme.
Choice 2, Jake said coldly. Die.
I had to go through all that and I didn't get the cool line. That's not fair.
Yeah. You set me up and knocked it down. Thank you. You killed our friend, I added. And let me tell you, payback is no fun. The Helmicrons blustered and complained, but they agreed to surrender and unshrink us. They didn't really have a choice. In the lungs, we demorphed. Tobias to Hawk, Axe to Andalite, The rest of
Wait,
us...
in what lungs? In the roach lungs?
I guess in the roach lungs.
Do they have lungs?
I don't know.
All right.
Are they not still inside Marco?
They are,
they're-
but
So-
like,
Yeah.
according to the book, he's
They
dead.
are, but they're we.
They're
Yeah,
weak.
so they've been so when if you're in a roach and he shrinks down, do you shrink down further? Like you just go down?
No, I think that was
along
the
with
thing
roach?
is that they stayed the same size. So he was
Okay,
like crushing
alright.
them.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, you're right. I guess that scans. That's good storytelling.
So it is. It really is. So the rest of us demorphed to human. And then we marched out of the body, out through what Cassie later called spiracles, or the breathing holes on either side of a cockroach's body. We kept the Helmicrons. We walked right out of Marco's dead corpse. We kept the we kept the Helmicrons under guard like prisoners of war. We moved fast, anxious to abandon the corpse. Oh fuck!
Is he dead?
Yeah, a corpse.
Maybe
that,
he's dead.
a corpse that was all that was left of Marco.
So the dead roach, that is Marco.
Zombie-like, I walked, looked straight ahead, didn't talk, too busy processing that Marco, our friend, was now a dead cockroach. Marco, my fellow warrior, and yeah, even friend, gone forever, killed, not by Yerks, as we all half expected to be, but by a race of tiny egomaniacs. There was no justice, poetic or otherwise, in that.
Jesus Christ.
The end.
Keep getting little half pages. Chapter 24. This isn't the barn, Cassie said. Wherever we were, it was dark and vast. At least it seemed that way. Then again, we weren't much bigger than bacteria. Does anyone see the Helmicron ship? Jake asked. No, Tobias said. If we cannot find the ship, we will not be able to return to our full size, Axe said. Duh. Axe, just guard the Helmicrons, Jake said. Yes, Prince Jake. Axe held a Dracon beam on our little band of gimpy, marble-eyed prisoners.
Gimpy? Jesus
I don't
Christ!
like it.
Uh-oh.
That's ableism at its best.
Damn.
His tail hovered above his head, ready to strike. Do you mind if I read another page?
Oh, yeah.
I
No,
keep
go-
getting
yeah, do
little
that.
ones.
Because he has like a scorpion
Yeah.
tail. He's like a centaur, but he has a scorpion
Yeah.
tail.
Tobias, Jake said. I'll try to figure out where we are, Tobias said wearily. With difficulty, he gained some altitude and was lost in the darkness. So is he like a tiny hawk right now?
tiny
like a teeny
hawk.
tiny
A
hawk?
teeny tiny
Yeah.
hawk.
Jake shook his head. Somehow I imagined we'd come out in the barn and the Helmicron ship would just be there. What do you mean somehow? Like
Yeah,
that was
right,
the
like,
fucking
obviously you
plan.
would
Marco
come out-
is
yeah.
the one that fucked it up.
Yeah.
Where did Marco go? He was supposed to stay put, I complained. Then I felt bad for complaining, because he did. The ship may have been destroyed, Axe said. Now there's a happy thought. Cassie laughed grimly. I wonder how long it will be before humans invent an anti-shrinking ray.
Forever, Cassie.
A long, long time, Axe stated. Look on the bright side, I said manically. Hold on, let me read that again. Look on the bright side! We're useless to the Yerks. We're much too small to be controllers now. Useless to humans too, Jake snapped. We can't fight Visser 3 when we're the size of a shredded fingernail clipping. What the what?
What?
He's the big bad.
Okay. Don't worry about the fight, I said. We're going to spend the rest of our lives just trying to get home. Tobias was back. I didn't see the ship, he reported, but I think we may be in Marco's closet. I think that big cliff over there is a hiking boot.
Oh my god.
What is he? Jake asked, glancing over his shoulder to the dark, looming mass that had once been our friend.
God!
God!
Wow.
Damn!
Roach, I think. A vicious sounding dog somewhere nearby. We can hear a dog barking, Axe said. It is likely a dog's voice has a different frequency than that of a human. That doesn't sound like Euclid, Cassie said musingly.
Euclid.
I have no idea. It's probably one of
Someone's
the characters'
dog.
dogs.
Someone has a dog named Euclid.
Roach. Roach, Jake said bitterly. It's Marco's last joke. Roach's roaches are, like, impossible to kill. Pretty ironic, huh?
Since he's dead.
What a great laugh we can share over our friend's dead body.
I think we should organize a search party. Oh, shit, wrong voice. I think we should organize a search party, I said. I'll go Eagle. Tobias and I can then try to determine if we are really in Marco's house. Jake's right, Cassie said suddenly. I did an oral report on roaches in the 4th grade. Nothing kills them. Cutting off their heads doesn't kill them. Submerging them in water doesn't kill them. Enough with the Animal Planet report, you bitch, I said. We're a fraction of an inch high and probably miles from home. It's time to focus. I'm not just blabbing.
If they were the size of
Cassie
bacteria, a
argued.
fraction of an inch is pretty generous.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm saying nothing kills a roach, not even stopping its heart. They have some sort of
You
backup
can
system.
kill a roach.
I mean, I've stepped on a lot of roaches and they looked pretty dead.
Yeah, I've killed roaches.
Yeah, I think that is funny. The sentence "nothing kills a roach" is just patently false.
Yeah.
Not in the Animorphs universe.
You know, you might be right.
Y'all know nothing, Jon Snow.
That's exactly what she said.
Well, maybe that's what happens on the next page is someone calls Cassie on this bad information. You think we could still reach him? Jake demanded. It's possible, said somebody. This was too good to believe. A tiny breath of hope against the cold wall of death. Naturally, I was suspicious because I'm Rachel and I'm kind of difficult. Hasn't he been in that morph for more than 2 hours? Axeman? Jake asked. See, I got an easier one. I didn't get Axe asked, but I did get Axeman.
Axeman.
Jake asked.
Axeman, Jake axed.
Yeah.
That's almost better.
1 hour, 55 minutes, Axe said, moving his stalk eyes towards us and keeping his main eyes on the strangely silent
All right.
prisoners.
I
forgot
forgot
he
about
had
the
multiple
stalk
eyes.
eyes.
Just to quickly explain, imagine a human head with normal eyes, and then on top of the head, there's stalks with also eyes.
On the body of a
And
blue
they're a
deer
centaur.
with a scorpion
Yeah,
tail.
they're a weird blue centaur deer with a scorpion tail.
I mean, it's the kind
Yeah,
of thing
obviously.
I've seen, like just a centaur deer, but like a blue one.
Yeah.
is what you're
You
saying.
see 'em all the
Okay,
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, yeah.
With the
I mean,
antenna eyes.
With antenna eyes, yeah.
Right.
I mean, andalites are everywhere, and honestly, can we really like focus home on the fact that they're a fucking pest?
I find them rooting through the trash all the time.
They're always hissing at me.
alley. Yeah. And their little
They
stalk
also don't
eyes
have
will
mouths.
just look around, like they don't know what's going on.
If I remember anything from the TV show, is they don't have mouths because they only speak telepathically.
Oh god.
That's horrifying.
Oh god, they don't. I'm looking at the picture. That's a nightmare. Anyway.
5 minutes, Cassie said. There's hope. I looked up. On one side, an enormous leg spiked with disgustingly dirty hairs. On the other, a shiny, smooth nutcase wall
Nutcase.
of armor.
I'm sorry, what?
That doesn't make any sense. What?
A shiny, smooth
man.
nutcase wall of armor.
What?
A shiny, smooth nutcase wall of armor.
Yeah, I'm reading it too. It doesn't.
No.
Let's just all pretend we know what the fuck that is. And
Oh
move
yeah, a shiny, smooth nutcase wall of armor.
Yeah, that old thing. The roach was giving off a dusky, filthy smell, a roach smell. But at that moment, the highly evolved roach body looked beautiful to me. Marco had ultimately picked the perfect morph.
What?
Classic Marco.
What?
And he just might be alive to gloat about it. We started to yell, "Marco! Morph out!" Jake cried desperately. That was desperation for me with acting. Marco! Morph out! Marco!
Marco!
Come on, Marco, Cassie shouted. You have only 5 Earth minutes left, Axe yelled like an asshole. Who says that? You need to say it that way. Morph out! Do it now!
No response. Because he's dead. He's not moving, Tobias said. Maybe he's in a coma, Cassie said. Or sleeping, Jake added, attempting a joke. Bad attempt. Marco!
Yeah, really bad.
Cassie said, "Come on now, listen to me. If you're in there, start to demorph. I'll help you through it."
Also, I want to clarify that bad attempt wasn't an ad lib that's in the book.
Yeah. "Come on, buddy. Don't get stuck as a roach," Tobias said desperately. "Dude," I said, "how dumb is it to live the rest of your life in the body that makes girls scream in terror? Your dating life is so over before it's ever begun." Priorities, dick. 4 minutes, Axe said. "Marco, man, come on," Jake pleaded. "We need you." "Yeah, we haven't had a good laugh all day." Who knows what finally reached him? Cassie's gentle coaching, Tobias's too real fear, Jake's pleading, my pathetic wisecracks, maybe even Axe's cold alien countdown.
Cold alien countdown.
I'm not even sure any of our puny voices, through thought speak or not, got through. All I know is that the hairy leg near me began to puff outward, growing, until it was a roach-colored wall. We ran to keep from getting squashed.
He's in the closet.
Yeah, he's morphing back into a human.
Hang on, I have one line left. "We have been victoriously tricked!"
Jesus Christ.
Viciously.
Oh, sorry. I was so used to saying victorious, because that's what they sound like.
Do it again.
"We have been viciously tricked!" A Helmicron shouted. Here you go, Bekah.
Where's... Oh. "The transforming alien is not really dead!" Axe pointed at the Dracon beam. "Shut up," he said calmly. The Helmicron's marble eyes all turned to face Marco. Now I am very curious. What do they look like? They said marble eyes a couple times now. Then, a rumbling of sound. "I believe Marco is awake," Axe informed us. "Marco, man, you are in serious doo-doo." Jake tried to sound serious. Did he? But he did. Axe, he probably can't hear my voice.
I agree, Bekah. I don't think he tried to sound serious at all.
I don't think that was a very good attempt.
You don't say doo-doo if you're trying to sound serious.
Typically,
If
no.
if you want to be delightful, yes, but...
Oh, those moments where we are reminded that it's a book for kids.
Axe, he probably can't hear my voice, so ask him where we are. Every time they put Axe and ask in the same sentence,
I know. Just say
I want
Axe.
to die. Then I smacked Marco on his growing human arm. What? Ridiculous. Wait, what?
What?
Okay. This is Rachel. "I smacked Marco on his growing human arm. Ridiculous. All less than an inch of me." Like, you're fucking microscopic. Less than an inch is not an accurate measure. Like,
No.
it's technically correct, but they are microscopic.
Technically, you're less than an inch, and less than a centimeter, and less than a millimeter.
Yeah.
Hold on. The next line you're going to read is great.
Is this Axe talking?
No, it's, it is Axe.
Yeah, it's Axe. Okay. "Marco, Rachel has just hit you in anger, and Jake demands to know why you morphed when he expressly forbade you to do so. However, at the moment there is no need to answer this question, as I will be unable to hear your response." Arf, 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 arf. Cujo in the hallway. You know his name's Buster.
Yeah.
That's just rude now.
Also, why do they think it's like this? Marco's the one who called him Cujo. Bad writing.
Oh, that's true.
Bad
Rachel
writing.
doesn't know that.
Rachel doesn't know that.
We finally found some bad writing.
We finally. At
It only took page 133.
It took until the end of the book.
Then a rumbling sound, a massive human voice. There was no way I could hear or understand Marco's words, but I bet he said something like this. "Oh man, I'm getting it from both sides. Everybody's always blaming me.
That's what she said.
This whole thing is Rachel's fault. If she hadn't hit me in the first place, I wouldn't have fallen and hit my head." What? Axe, tell Marco to stop whining and thank us for saving him from a life under the kitchen sink. Axe did. Here's what I know, Marco said. Remind me to send flowers after I save your sorry butts.
Is that the end? Or?
No.
Oh, shit.
This book is not going to fucking end.
God.
All right.
We have to be close.
You guys aren't ready for this shit. Chapter 25.
Ooh, this is the last chapter. Last chapter. Last chapter alert.
All right, so I'm going to read this page and the next page.
Okay.
Marco morphed a gull.
Why? He just turned into a human. Now he's a seagull in that house, in that apartment building closet. Still,
A fucking seagull flew out of their closet.
We clung to him, the 5 of us, and our 5 prisoners. Prince Jake instructs you to not forget the camera. Marco explained to us that we were, as he bird walked out of the closet, hopped up onto the desk, and grabbed the camera with his beak. Then we flew through the open window and headed toward Cassie's barn. Now that he was in Morph, Marco could engage in two-way communication with Axe and Tobias. So I guess like they can only telecommunicate when.
So
they're
this
Morph.
dog
but
sees...
why only with a few of them?
I don't know.
That crappy dog attacked me.
Oh,
he
wait,
told
because
us
they're
as
not
we
more.
passed.
They're humans. They're just tiny.
Hold on. There's a little bit of poetry here. As we passed into bright sunshine.
Lovely.
Practically chewed my hand off. How'd you get away? Cassie asked via Axe. Even though I was dripping copious amounts of blood, I performed like a brave and stalwart knight, Marco said. Then I rode home on my trusty purple steed.
What?
Please tell me you are not going to be imitating the Helmicrons for the next 2 months, Jake said. Nah, Marco said. I'm going to be too busy conquering the universe. Had we actually missed this guy? Hard to believe.
I wish he was dead.
Dog bites can be nasty. Did you have a doctor look at it? Please, like I had the time. Besides, when I morphed and demorphed, the thing was gone. I'm perfect again. Yeah, and we'll talk later about your brilliant decision to disobey orders, Jake. I just know you had a good reason. Yeah, I hope so. I wonder what's on that film, I said. Jake frowned. We'll never know. Developing it is too risky.
What?
What?
We'll burn
Why
it
would
as
you let
soon as we... What?
Well, no, this is back when you had
Oh.
to develop film with a third party, and why would
But-
you want them to see
But don't they
don't-
know what was
point.
on the pictures? It was them?
Yeah,
Just
and
pictures of
also,
them?
you don't have to develop it through a third party. It's tricky, but you could develop it yourself if you got the right shit.
Teenagers.
Sure.
I mean, well, they have access to a barn. They could definitely
They could make a
build
dark
a little
room.
dark room in there.
Yeah.
And also, like,
Take
yeah,
a class.
just destroy it. Who cares? You know
I
it's
don't know.
pictures of
If
you.
I know anything about barns, it's that sunlight leaks through the panels.
That whole roll of film is just all pictures of that guy's dick and then, like, one picture of them morphing.
Yeah, so just destroy it.
It could be that the next page is them having this exact conversation about what to do.
I hope so. Right down to the dick pic.
And like Jake, I want to say we'll never know. You know,
I do want,
developing it
yeah.
is too risky. We'll burn it as soon as we get to the barn. We did. Marco had hidden the Helmicron ship in the freezer, along with the blue box. Axe hooked everything up and forced the protesting Helmicrons to unshrink us. Relief. Then we let them power up their ship and take off. Promise us you'll never come back to Earth, Jake said as the Helmicrons hovered in front of the barn door. You have our word, as honorable female servants of the Helmicron Empire. A Helmicron male would never lie. At the same time, I noticed the blue box beginning to elevate. I couldn't see the Helmicron's minuscule tractor beam, but I knew it was there.
Those
Marco and I
scamps.
both... I know those little guys. You Helmicrons, get out of here.
You Helmicrons.
Marco and I both jumped to grab the box. I snagged it. We even managed not to hit our heads together.
And
'cause
cause
that's
this whole
something-
thing to happen again.
Yeah. Oh, is that what happened at the beginning of this?
This is like literally the Helmicrons came in, tried to get the blue box, everyone scrambled, like Marco fell over, hit his head, and then they ran up his nose. That's how it happened.
Well, Well, hold on. They started out dealing with like the main plot of the whole
Yeah.
series in the very first few chapters, and then the Helmicron showed up and detracted from all of that.
Also, as much as I love the Helmicrons, if this is life and death, you'd really just be like, promise you won't come back. Like, fucking
Right.
step on them.
Yeah.
They're tiny.
Yeah. Smash him with the club.
Well, no,
Or your
they're
feet.
not the Yeerks.
But they're
Yeah, I know.
clearly bad guys if they want to run up someone's nose and kill
Well,
them.
no, I'm saying the Animorphs are not the Yeerks. They're not the bad guys.
They wouldn't
They'll
kill
give
in
the
cold
bad guys
blood.
a chance.
Ugh. That's how they'll lose.
Well, exactly. That's going to let the Helmicrons come back, which I'm all for because then we get more Helmicrons.
Cassie stowed the blue box somewhere safe. Again, for security, she didn't tell us where. That would require
can't
this
be
writer to come
trusted.
up with one more detail. Then we all
As
headed
opposed to
home.
needless details.
Right. Then we all headed home for a little quality time with our parents.
What?
Sure.
Why?
I had piles of homework. I was researching the Salem witch hunts on the internet when I flashed on that strange spiky thing we saw in Marco's bloodstream.
All right. I'm taking us home.
Take us home, Johnny.
10 minutes later, I found it on the website from the Centers for Disease Control.
Are you okay?
Why did you struggle with that?
We had a lot of whiskey,
Chris,
Chris.
yeah, I'm drunk.
I'm just worried
Oh,
that
I've been
you're gonna
drinking
have like
vodka
a
this whole
fucking
time.
yeah. I'm just worried that you're gonna have like a fucking embolism or something.
And you'll never know.
There's a tiny Helmicron in his brain.
There's a Helmicron in me. 10 minutes later, I found it on the website for the Center of Disease Control. They call it the coronavirus. A sketchy...
Not funny.
If we can't laugh now, when can we?
Topical Animorphs.
A sketchy line drawing of the spiky thing. Ooh. A rabies virus.
What?
The dog bite Marco had told us about. What I read about rabies didn't make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Rabies is not a pretty disease. Is the end of this book just like a
Marco has
PSA on
rabies.
rabies?
What
Rabi-
if after all that Marco dies
I
of
hope,
rabies?
I hope Marco just has rabies. He's afraid of water. The dog bite Marco
What?
told us about. What that rabies isn't it like makes you scared of water drinking? Scared of drinking water? Right, guys? Chris, John,
Yep.
thank you.
It makes you scared
Yep,
of
no,
drinking
makes you-
water.
Makes you totally afraid of any. It gives you aquaphobia. Aquaphobia.
That's ridiculous,
I'm drunk.
and I will be Googling that later. I'm writing a note to Google rabies.
Anyway,
yeah, no. I'll tell Google you're wrong.
All right.
Google. Rabies is not a pretty disease, guys. Get it, and you have two choices. Start a series of injections within 3 days. Seems easy. Or die. Fucking seems easy. Die after going awfully, violently insane. Bottom line, if Marco hadn't morphed to Roach or anything else, he'd be dying. Or he could get rabies shots. What are you talking about?
Oh, wait. Wasn't it a thing where if they morph and morph back, then their wounds heal or something?
Yeah?
So maybe
Yeah.
he doesn't have rabies
Yeah.
now
But you get
or something.
gonna
I
kill-
don't know. It's
All right, whatever.
Confusing.
Yeah.
All right, so if Marco hadn't morphed to Roach or anything else, he'd be dying. He wouldn't have known he had rabies, so he wouldn't have started the treatment in time. And
Well, you would have known. You could have fucking told him.
yeah, he wouldn't have known he had rabies, so he wouldn't have started the treatment in time. When he'd morphed in the kids' closet, almost 12 hours had already gone by since the dog bit him. I don't know.
The first time.
Other bottom line, it was clear to me that Marco had morphed not to upset Jake or to save his own skinny butt, not to betray us or because he valued his own life over ours. He had morphed because the disease had already begun to twist his mind and distort his judgment. He'd morphed against direct orders because he was slowly going insane.
Yeah, well, you're a child and you don't know better.
This was good news. Marco wasn't dying, and with this interesting piece of information, I could get him off the hook with Jake and the others. I reached for the phone, stopped, smirked. Maybe in the morning.
What?
That makes no fucking
the end
sense.
of the book?
That's the end of the book? That's the
What
end
kind
of...
of hard-boiled ending is that? That's book.
That's... I know I'm drunk, but that's
I do too.
baffling.
She just went out on a limb to assume that he morphed because he was turning insane from rabies and is going to pause on telling her other friends that he's not an asshole.
I don't think rabies kills you that quickly.
No.
I don't think if you get bit by
It makes you nuts.
an animal that has rabies, I don't think within 12 hours you're like going insane.
And there was no buildup in his chapter to him like having any sort of symptoms at
I know,
all.
he was pretty angry. That whole thing of like...
He's been angry and cranky and fucking whiny literally the entire book. Since the second they went in his nose, he was like, great, they're in my nose.
That's true. I mean,
Everything,
it's true.
this is so annoying.
Really?
He's been complaining the whole time.
What a weird curveball to throw at the end of a chapter of an insane book.
That we're never going to read again.
Yeah. So, okay.
So I really got to ask you guys about this show.
Please, go.
Or you all. I'm trying not to say you guys.
That's
Bekah.
okay. I'm a guy. It's fine.
See, I feel like you guys, I like it because I think I've heard so many people use it, and it seems like it's neutral, but I understand it's not. So
I don't-
So you
Even if
all.
I'm talking to a group of women, I still say you guys.
Yeah, I don't feel gendered by it, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying
I think attention goes a long way.
We know you're not a
towards that.
dick, so you're fine. You can.
But I'm
say
also
you
from
guys.
Alabama, so I can get away with y'all, and no one can tell me.
That's true.
You're from Alabama. You can't get away with much.
Yeah, but I can say y'all. That's the one thing you can do
Yeah.
if you're from Alabama. Everything else you should shut the fuck up if you're from Alabama. No, is this the worst book you guys have read for
100%.
this show?
Right?
Yeah.
I feel like Party Games was pretty bad.
I feel
Yeah.
like Party Games at the
Well-
time was bad, but then when I listened to it, it was amazing. Like it was.
This is
good
number
radio.
1, but Party Games was number 2.
I would agree.
Obviously, I'm just like not so much what makes a good episode, but
Content.
just what was just horrible to read.
Yeah, this was very difficult to read. And
Yeah.
part of it is because we're jumping in really late in a series and there's so many
So
different
late.
types of characters. There's so many characters, there's so many different types of creatures.
But I
and
will.
there's not a lot
yeah.
of context for it at book 42.
42.
So that made it pretty difficult. But even without that, the writing is hard to fucking get through.
It's bad writing. Obviously, like, we're not judging these books a lot. I mean, we are, but like, we're not saying any of them are like amazingly beautifully written. They're kids' books. Like,
Yeah.
we're reading them for fun. They're all bad or good in different ways. But like, we read Babysitter's Club forever ago. You listening to Below Grade Level haven't heard it because we're not going to post it for a while because we read a Babysitter's Club forever ago for our old podcast, and that was deep into Babysitter's Club.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't feel lost jumping into a Babysitter's Club from like deep into it.
No,
I was like,
Babysitter's Club's better written than Animorphs.
that's what I'm saying. Babysitter's Club is not only is it better written, but it's like more entertaining and it's more fun to get into. This was rough. Like this was, and seriously, I think this was rougher than Party Games.
yeah.
Because Party Games, my memory of Party Games reading it, which is different than listening to it after the fact, because it's fun to listen to us be angry as opposed to being
But
angry. in the
also,
moment.
you're the only one that listens to it after
That's
the
true.
fact.
I probably should
But
listen
so,
to it.
reading Party Games, what I remember was it was a blast for a while, and it was just too long. Like it dragged for a while, and it got like very, very,
Well,
very.
that's when you get through young person to young adult, which Party Game was Fear Street, so it was YA.
The other thing with Party Games, though, is
So-
that we weren't doing it in this format, so we were literally reading it like 1 or 2 chapters at a time, and it was like 1 billion chapters long.
It just felt grueling.
It was very grueling. I think it would be grueling even if we read it for this podcast, but it would definitely go by faster.
yeah.
And maybe we would have had a less bad taste in our mouth. So that's
All right, so
Answers your question,
I I want to end this with just applauding Jonathan with having to edit this, because he's going to have 3 different recordings that he's going to have to sync up.
So does that answer your question, John, about this book being shitty?
I mean,
John.
I honestly am glad I was here for this. That I was here for the one that you guys are all agreeing is the.
Do you want to come back on our show after this? Because the last 2 people we had on for Animorphs were really, really upset, and they did not want to ever come back.
Oh yeah, that was Kelly and then Kata.
Kelly and Kata were like, you know what? Fuck you guys.
I find the experiment of this show to be, for some strange reason, very interesting. So yes, I'd be happy to come back and we could do Animorphs. But what I'm wondering is there a weirder book than an Animorph book?
kind of.
I don't know about weirder, but I would love to hear John Walker do Babysitter's Club.
He's
has.
done it.
I don't remember.
Chris.
Well, see, yeah.
I feel like we've exclusively had him do Babysitter's Club.
We did.
Yes, you guys have actually literally beaten me with a Babysitter's Club book. I've walked in the door and been like, "Hey guys," and it's like, "Wham!" and you hit me in the
And
face.
Chris,
with the
you don't
Babysitter's
remember,
Club book.
but it's fantastic.
It is very. Chris, you should go back and listen to our old
And
episode.
so,
I don't listen to my own shows.
So some of the books we bought when we did this book haul where we got some Animorphs, we bought some Sweet Valley books, which
Yes.
I'm really excited to read.
Which-
So we got a Sweet Valley Twins, a Sweet Valley High, and a Sweet Valley University, which I've never read.
Which is, I think,
That's,
So I'm
Sweet Valley
excited to go
so
University.
far ahead.
I feel like Sweet Valley University is like the Fear Street to the
Oh,
Goosebumps of the
absolutely.
Sweet Valley universe.
Yeah, definitely.
So my pitch, and I think you're on board with this. The next book we do, I think, is Sweet Valley High.
I just felt like we should do those in order of them being kids, but I am more excited to read the Sweet Valley High than the Sweet Valley Twins.
Yeah, I think we
I'm on
should.
the fence.
Wait,
Okay.
it started with Sweet Valley Twins, or did it start
Yeah.
with Sweet Valley High and then it was like a prequel?
You know what? I don't know.
I have no fucking clue.
I think it's the second thing you said. I think the Sweet Valley High books were around when I was a kid, and then I think Sweet Valley Twins came along later.
Like,
Like in the
As a
post Goosebumps era, where these sort of book series for kids had really become established, where like there's a certain size of like published book, like bigger than, I mean, it's like I can picture the format, and that, because I worked at the youth department. Have we talked about this before? That I worked at a library in the youth department.
No,
No, we
I
haven't
don't think
not.
so.
So I have shelved a lot of the books that you guys talk about on this show. However, I think Animorphs came later, but definitely when I was working there, the Goosebumps series was huge. But around that time, there were other books that were in that kind of Goosebumps format, where it's like around 120 pages
Yeah.
and kind of like a chapter book, but like halfway between a kid's book and a chapter book. You know, a real book. And I think Sweet Valley Twins is kind of more like that, isn't it? It's a little bit more for younger kids. So I think
Definitely.
that definitely
I
came
love
later,
that
because
term,
when I was
though,
growing
like
up,
a real book.
yeah.
well, that's the only thing I was gonna say. As far as like, I've never read, or I know nothing really about Sweet Valley universe, other than just like I'm more familiar with the.
It's
concept
called
of
the Sweet Valley verse.
Sweet Valley verse. The SVU.
Sweet Valley SVU.
Oh shit. Okay. So I am just like, I am familiar with the concept of Sweet Valley High more than Sweet Valley University and Sweet Valley Twins. So I feel like Sweet Valley High must have been like the thing, like the main thing.
I think if you look
the
at
other two
those
are
books,
put
you'll
that in
see
my
that they're
notes.
The other two are probably offshoots.
they're
of
more
that.
like traditional paperbacks, and the covers are painted. You can tell kind of they're from an earlier era. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure those were around when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, and they had like a little bit of there was something a little bit torrid about them to me when I was a young kid. I don't know if they were if they were aimed
that
at
was
young
like
adults.
85 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
a million
approximately
gazillion years
120
ago.
years ago. It was around the
The
time
Earth
of the
hadn't even cooled yet,
first-
and I was looking
first
at
Great
paperback
Depression.
books.
So we'll talk about it, but I think so. The next episode of Below Grade Level, I think I'll dip back into our archive and do another batch of legacy stuff, just because we are in this very strange period of time where we are self-isolating and et cetera, et cetera. Everyone is remote, but we might do some more stuff like this where we, record things over the phone and do some remote stuff. But let us know what you think.
What the future holds.
Who knows? Let us know what you thought of Animorphs, for the love of God. Let us know what you think of the show in general, and follow us on Facebook, Cactus Rodeo. You can find our other podcasts
And Spotify.
Yeah, well, all of our stuff is on Spotify, Apple, Google, all that kind of shit. We have a couple other podcasts: The Sketchy Show, CD Reads, and Movie Club. Is there any?
Yeah. And John Walker, would you like to plug anything?
Oh yes, John Walker. Do you do stuff?
I have a lot of little dumb things. I'm going to try to rattle them off quickly so that it doesn't seem like I'm just going on forever. I'm on a movie podcast I mentioned already called Movie Schmovie, and this one of the upshots, if there's any such thing as an upshot in this current weird era that we're living in, is that now that everybody has to sit at home, my co-host of that show and I have had more time to record. So we'll have like our third episode in 3 weeks coming out soon. So that's great. So that's Movie Schmovie, and that'll be our 250th episode. So that's pretty fun.
Christ.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that just all that means, people, is that you didn't stop making podcasts. It sounds kind of cool, but when you really think about it, no one physically forced us to stop.
Yeah.
No one really asked us to keep doing it either, but no one actually stopped us. So we kept doing them, and we got to 250. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Gianni W. That's GIANNIDUBYA. You can find my music on Bandcamp and SoundCloud under the name Sci-Fi, SIGH, FIGH. I have to spell all of this shit because I'm too clever.
You made it hard on yourself.
Well, yeah, you did the same thing I did, where you're like, oh, none of this is easy to search for. Cool.
But also
No, none of
plug
it is.
your Amazing Stories podcast.
Well, I'm about to, but you can specifically find a new EP that I've put out under my name Sci-Fi at sci-fi.bandcamp.com. It's the Communicable EP, and that's like brand new stuff that I recorded around the time all this stay-at-home stuff started. So it's fresh off the presses, but the songs, I played them for about a year before that. So when I recorded them, it was a good time to record them. And then, yes, I have a podcast network that has lots of different little shows on it. Because I'm trying to save money, I put all my shows on one feed, and that feed is called FYIZ. And one of the shows on that network is called Are They Though? An Amazing Stories podcast, and I've had our illustrious friend Bekah Eaton on as a guest, and that's actually the most recent episode on that feed at this point. And yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that, and I think both of the other people on this show have agreed to do future episodes of Are They Though? And we'll see. Maybe we'll get those done sooner rather than later if everyone has to stay at home.
I also want to reiterate that John Walker, other than the theme song, did all the music for Pop Second Theater.
Yep. I was also thinking that was another plug. We're working on the second season of Pop Second Theater still, and John Walker.
The quarantines put a little bit of like a hamper on it, but we're going strong. We're doing it.
It's all the coronavirus's fault.
It's getting done. No. I'm taking that out.
No, every now and then I think about everything that I know that's been written for season 2 of that show, and I think it could be so funny and such a fun thing for people to see. So yeah, whenever that comes out, I really think if people like season 1, I think season 2 is going to really tickle their fancies.
Season 2 is so much better than season 1.
And you guys
I love
will find
season
out
1
day.
Season 2. Oh man.
All right. Well, that ends this episode of Below Grade Level. Thank you, John, for being on this episode. Thanks, Chris,
Thanks for having me.
For dealing with doing this remote stuff.
No trouble at all.
So that's it. Thanks, guys, for listening, and we will see you next time. We love you. Bye.
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 Below Grade Level is a Cactus Radio production. You can contact us at podcast@cactusrodeo.com. Subscribe and follow on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify, and follow Cactus Rodeo on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more entertainment and updates.